We live? I hope it's live. It's actually not told me we're live. Oh, yes, we're live. People deluded. I'm back again. I hope you're all doing well and safe. Monday morning settings. I hope you've all got a spring in your step. I defo do. I've been up for several hours now, as you know. If you've already, seen that I've already uploaded my latest edition of the Deluded podcast, please make sure you go and support the thing and check that one out. Spotify, Apple, rest of the streaming websites, bish, bash, boom. And I've watched the game again, people. Tactical review settings. We're going to get onto it. So I've had quite the day, but fundamentally, people, whatever you think about Arsenal, I know a lot of you, and I'm appreciative of you lot as well, that have nothing to do with Arsenal, but you like what I have to say in my football comments, regardless of what team you support, whatever, life goes on in it. And like football, life goes on. We need to just carry on. So I hope with Monday, you lot are all ready to attack your goals, dreams, and aspirations you've got for this week. I hope you did it last week. If not, there's another chance here. So it is what it is. Now, I hope you're well and safe. Now, as football fans, I can't lie, I'm happy to see the international break. For me, deluded, there's a bit of a respite now. Now, all I've got to do is a couple of videos and we're kind of done. I can breathe. I'm not going to lie, I welcome this kind of break. But on a serious note, from an Arsenal perspective, we always call for the season to be done, an international break, but let's not cap. We're going to miss Arsenal. We miss it. Now it's international break period. And for those of you that are playing for Arsenal, play for Arsenal and obviously called up by your countries, go and enjoy playing for your country. It's national pride. Go and forget about Arsenal for a sec. Go there, clear your headspace, and then obviously come back, sort of thing. Anyone that doesn't fly, then I hope we use this 2 weeks or whatever period in a sense of we use this to really review what's happened in March, what we've been doing all season, and try and arrest these issues that keep plaguing us. We're going to get into it, but I'm pretty sure you all saw West Ham. Yeah, we came back and things like that. It's more of the same. So I hope that Arteta and the boys, first and foremost, they take the time to breathe and because it's healthy to do that. And then we get back on that Ferris wheel. We've got 2 weeks. This is a very important 2 weeks. We can really, for Arteta, it's the chance to really work on something in the week. And, from Monday to Friday, work on something and not have to switch it up on Thursday or Wednesday or Tuesday because it's Europa, and then you might want to work on something, but there's a threat that West Ham have, so you want to drill something into the boys. Arteta has a chance to really, again, I don't think anything's going to change like that, but really try and get something. And for the boys, I hope they get together, and just review this period themselves, because I always tell you, I believe footballers have to police and police and coach themselves to a degree. Arteta can't do everything, and if these players had pride in their personal performance time and time again, you wouldn't have seen that against West Ham. You don't go 2-0 down after a poor 20 anyways. You don't go 2-0 down within those first 20, conceding 2 of those goals seconds or whatever, couple minutes between the first and second. And the quality, the first goal, was a bad boy thing from West Ham. We're going to get into it, but that was a very good goal. Frustrating from Arsenal, but fair play. They bopped us. Second and third, very avoidable, but it is what it is, people. We keep moving. So we'll get into that soon. We'll get into all of that stuff soon. So yeah, I hope Arteta and whatnot, they use this period to really review their practices, really consider what's going right, what's going wrong, because it's a bit mixed. We move in it. But on that note, people, please make sure you're hitting the like button. I see 62 of you in here within the opening 33 minutes, about 33. But in the opening 3 minutes, there's 34 likes, there's 58 viewers. Come on, people, get on that. But yeah, man, I hope you're all doing well and safe. Let me see what you lot are saying in the comments. Like I said, please make sure you're hitting the like button. Jaden, I saw you here from early. AM, I saw you here from early. John Wayne, PRM, I see you all here from early. Cannot forget Mario as well. Brad is saying, don't gas me up like this, DG. Brad, I don't know how I'm gassing you, my guy. I think you're having a classic case of seeing 2 and 2 and getting 25, because I'm pretty sure it's the headline. Now, for me, we're going to get into it, but listen, I don't care if I would love ODEGAARD to become a permanent signing. Listen, if you got to pay another loan fee and keep him for another year, get that one done, in it, because I'll get into it in a sec, but we know he's a good technical footballer. It's about every other aspect, but we'll get into it in a second, people. Get your comments, opinions, and the rest of it coming. Man said, shout out Callum Cellini. To be fair, Callum Chambers, you can only take what's in front of you, and I think in the 2 chances he's got against Burnley and obviously yesterday, I think he's taking his chances. Chambers played 64, 65 times for this football club, and he's 25 or something now. I think we're at where we're at with him. I think he can be a squad player, nothing more. But I like people who take their chances, and I'll get into it again. I swear down, I'm getting into everything, innit? I think between Callum Chambers, Cedric, even to a degree, Maitland-Niles when he was here, sorry, none of them are anything to write home about. I'm pretty sure nobody's fully convinced over any of the individuals I just named over a 38-game period. But I think specifically with Chambers, and definitely, I think he had a good game in general. Even the first goal, Lingard's, he's the only one that's looked over his shoulder and tried to stop it. I think just from having somebody who understands the right back role, when to get forward, how to link up with a winger, actually putting in decent balls into the area. I think this highlights how much better we could be if we sign a competent right back, someone that we don't have to keep talking about this position. I don't want to talk about Bellerin off the back of yesterday because he wasn't involved. I don't know if he's injured. I don't know if it was tactical problems and stuff like that, because I think Arteta's his guy. But at the same time, I believe personally Bellerin should be at the back of the queue. I think it's Cedric first. Chambers has complicated things with that performance, but I think Cedric, Chambers right now, and then Bellerin, really, because Bellerin ain't taking his chances. That's my coffee. This is my green tea. So yeah, we've got a decent bit to cover. Big up River Wild as well. Just I'm still scratching my head about that game as well, my guy. I'm still, bro. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I hope I can cover some things and kind of put your mind to ease, but I don't know what to say. All I can say is this is what Arsenal is, in it. We give blood pressure and stuff like that. It's crazy, man. I appreciate guys like you, DG, my guy, with that banging content. Keep up the good work, bro. I appreciate that. Like Troy has said, make sure you keep hitting the like button. Man said it's a bit early for a permanent deal, but I'm all for another loan. I agree, DS. I'm with you on that one, my guy. Don't get it twisted. I'm going to cover that. I'm with you, but man's converting, in it. Like, bro, man needs this to happen now, man. I can't lie to you, because, and the key thing for me, I want other options, in a sense of, you know, it's all ODEGAARD right now. Before it was all Aouar. And as much as I would have condoned Aouar coming to this club and I was happy, and whatever reason it happened or didn't happen, he's not the only footballer in the world. It's like, it's not, you know, he's, with all due respect, unless you're Lionel Messi, Mbappe, Ronaldo, Haaland, these sort of guys, and gonna be these sort of guys, then there is what it is. If you're not one of them, there's several things. And for me, it's about plan D and stuff like that. Like, I'm going to hold on it, but we're just assuming that Ødegaard wants to stay in things. I don't want to ruin the content that we have to come, but you get it, man. It's where it is, man. Smash the like. Big up the moderators as well. Dapo, I see you. Mr. Adlib, wouldn't be a watch along or a live show without you, man. Bro, bear of my friends said they done that. I wish I could have as well. I don't blame anyone, but obviously I was live with you lot. I can't lie to you lot, man. I was stressed, I was vexed, but it is Arsenal, innit? It is what it is, man. RJ, big up yourself, my dude, as well. You know, we're going to get into Aubameyang, Pat. Save the Aubameyang stuff. We're going to get into it. What are you saying, Gunnar? Tactically, he said the squad was too big to pick everybody regarding Bellerin. So then that's it. They're in it. He's not happy with what he's seen with Bellerin, and that's putting the ball at Bellerin's court, saying, yo, you was involved on Thursday. You didn't do something. That's why you're not in it. It's the same way Nelson, to a degree, Martinelli, but Martinelli, Nelson, Lacazette, a lot of players have been on the bench or not involved in the match day squad. Even Smith Rowe once upon a time. So it's a bit of a bit of mind games in a positive sense, I feel, from Arteta, man. To be fair with you, the captain thing, you know, it's not like they've got a big pull to pull from him, Norway, with respect, but it is what it is. Charles is killing me. Never mind, smash the like button. Felt like smashing the TV. Broski, you know Arsenal. If we start well, we're not going to end it convincingly. If we start slow, we're going to end it strong. And it's stupid, and I'm going to keep saying it until I see a change. Is, bro, Arsenal love this playing well in stages, you know. Like, we can sit there off the West Ham game and say, oh, if we played better in the first 20, we might not have conceded those 2 goals, we might have won. And I hear that. That's logic, but we can only deal with the facts. Football's a 90-minute game. No point being good for 70 if you messed up for 20. No point having a good 80 if you messed up in the last 10. Do you get? And that's what we need to learn. Even if we go back to... Do you remember the Chelsea game, Arteta, when he took over? Do you remember the Chelsea game where we fucked it up, pardon my language, in the last 15? These things have always been there. Sometimes I feel it's on Arteta when I look at games like Wolves where we're crossing the ball for a lot of the time. But definitely where I'm concerned in this month of March, I feel the players have... Arteta's got criticism, but I feel the players have messed it up, man. It's a madness. See, is saying Bellerin hasn't played in the Premier League since Man City, I believe. If true, he don't deserve to, really and truly. I'm not sure. We'll have to take that one to VAR, but it is what it is. Mr. Adlib said, what's the main difference between Aouar and Odegaard? I think Aouar can play more as an 8 and Odegaard can be more of a 10, to be fair. Obviously, they can swap roles, but I think both of them would be good. I think you'd have an Aouar partner for Partey. Then you've got an Odegaard. You've got Smith Rowe that you can, play around with in that regard. So it is what it is, man. We need options. My thing with it is, and I'm sure you will agree, in the summer, it was like Odegaard is the only, not Odegaard, Aouar is the only player in the world, I think he could be that 8 or that deep line playmaker, but it's like we were fixated on him. Like, it's like there was no other player. So lo and behold, when it doesn't work at Lyon, we're left empty-handed sort of thing. That's what I don't want to see. I want Odegaard to stay. But if he's not on this thing, or for whatever reason he doesn't stay, then I need to know that there's a plan B and other targets, man. It is what it is. We've got a super chat before I kick on into the other stuff. We've got a super chat. Big up everyone. Please make sure you're hitting those like buttons. What have you said, my dude? DG, I'm really concerned with the centre mid positions. I hope you can see I am too. We need quality players there. I agree with the word quality, but I just think we need competent, consistent, and confident midfielders who can put in play out of 10 games. You give me no less than a 7. Really and truly. Xhaka is good, but not cut out for the momentum in the Premier League. I disagree. I don't think it's a thing, because is Xhaka any, in a foot race, is Xhaka any slow? I'm not putting him on par with these midfielders, but some of the midfielders we've seen come to the Premier League, or come through academies, is he any slower in terms of running than any of them? The problem with Xhaka is he's not a thinker's man. He don't think enough. He don't think quick enough. He don't do things in less touches. So I see what people mean about, he could go Italy where the game's slower, but if it's a thinker's game, really and truly, obviously he's no Paul Scholes. Paul Scholes weren't the quickest, the strongest or whatever, but my man had a brain. So you can't defeat him. You need a brain. You need an absolute brain, man. So yeah, man, for me, Xhaka should be what El Nene is doing, and you have a couple other midfielders, but it is what it is, man. If Xhaka's just, for me, it's just speed of thought. I used to agree with that, and I still somewhat agree about it's too slow, but it's speed of thought. That being said, I don't think Xhaka was the worst footballer on the pitch, man. Bro, man killed him for wanting John Stones and Jorginho. To be fair, I wouldn't mind Jorginho coming to Arsenal. Not that can happen, but with Jorginho, if he comes to Arsenal, he'll get exposed, because you look at his system at Thomas Tuchel, these sort of players, when you play them, you've got to double down. Jorginho can't defend too tough. It's easy to get past him. So he's protected. There's Kante to him. Kovacic puts himself around. There's wing backs. So he's there to kind of do his thing. We expose players. Like, we don't, like, even Marie yesterday. He played poor, I felt, and he regained it, but we exposed him in areas where he's pulled out wide and stuff like that. So I have to question the system, man. We need players from the trenches, like you said, bro. This is what I need: street smart footballers, because I'm now of the belief that this inconsistency is immaturity. I always give the example about life. Being an adult is about obviously going to work, paying your bills on time, making sure there's food in your fridge, making sure the house is tidy when it needs to be tidy. This is maturity. That's consistency. I like doing your Sunday cleaning and stuff like that, making sure your kids got whatever they need. Surely that's consistency. I'm looking at this Arsenal team as teenagers now. We don't know what we're getting game to game. It's like your mum's there saying to you, clean your room and do all of this. It's immaturity. That's the vibes I get. We need players that are competent. I need men that can think at this football club. And I don't think we have that. It's either they're soft, they can't think, or they're just clueless. Majority people, really and truly. It's as simple as that. I appreciate you, Daniel. Please make sure you hit the like button. Man said, why aren't you streaming on Twitch? That must be a serious error, because it's supposed to be streaming on Twitch. You might have done the guy dirty. Check it now. We should be live on Twitch. Let me actually go on. That's it, StreamYard doing the guy dirty. What's going on there? I think we're live on Twitch now. We should be live on Twitch. I don't know, man, but they done the guy dirty, man. I appreciate you for looking out. In fact, we're there now. I don't know what happened there, but technical difficulties were still there. We're at 70 likes, people. Keep pushing that one, man. Broski. There's certain things you don't have to tell, man. You see what I'm saying? You said it there, Stylish. Again, this is why I do this content, because there's people that see the game differently to me, but the same. You've played football. You understand. First things first, stand over that ball. Do not turn around. Simple things. This is why Arteta can have criticism. I'm not excusing anything he's done or hasn't done. I just feel some of these players, Arteta shouldn't have to tell them certain things, Again, I keep saying it, Leicester, we won, fair enough, but Leicester, Aston Villa, Wolves, yesterday to a degree, Olympiacos, they were going into games where as a football fan, you know the threats West Ham have. Like, we all watch Match of the Day. We watch West Ham when they're on TV and stuff. I'm not a West Ham fan, so I'm not watching week in, week out. But you know that we know they're fifth in the table. We know David Moyes has been playing well. We know that front four of Ben Rama, Lingard, Antonio, Bowen, they're in form. We know this. So when you, man, are playing against them or doing the analytical things and whatnot, why do you lot play like you don't know it? It's like we're going into games ill-equipped. And that's one thing I'm not going to blame on Arteta, because I hear the way he speaks pre-game. That's why I sit here and I bring the pre-game comments, because I like to criticize people, but on stuff they're doing. I don't think these players are switched on. I don't think there's enough accountability in their performance. I don't think the IQ's there. You know, even when we've got, you know, the first 20 minutes before the goal, players should arrest themselves and say, yo, listen, stop what you're doing. Let's try something else. We can't get our home half. We need to calm the hell down. Fair enough, it didn't bang. When that first goal goes in, we need to sit there and say to ourselves, all right, cool, we've messed up. They deserve that goal. Now let's wake up. Instead, you're conceding that shambles of a goal you conceded for the second and the third. The less said, the better. I love Tierney, but I was on to Tierney for 45 minutes. Tierney's my guy. You know, I'm very biased when it comes to Tierney. You know, these sort of shockers are once in a blue moon. It is what it is. But this is the problem with Arsenal. When couple man are not shining, or, you know, when Saka and Tierney are not quite doing it, and couple other men, we're not quite there. You know, Odegaard, Chambers, and Lacazette, the three man of the matches for me. I think Partey's fourth behind them as well. But either way, there's no man of the match card. We never won. And at the same time as well, have you noticed we keep saying the same 3, 4, 5 names, but I need to see 11 players. I need to see 11 players minimum out of a 25-man squad. You know, for me, I've always given you the 7 names historically at this club that I believe in. I think throwing Odegaard is the 8th, people. And this is what I say as well, Elliot. You know, Tierney, this is why I rate Tierney, because he can arrest when he's playing badly. First 45 was shaky, fixed up. Double block, started moving like the Tierney's been. You know, it is what it is. I don't think Partey was sus at all, man. He recovered the ball a lot. You go and look at 2 of those goals. He played quite crucial. The only criticisms I'd say with Partey is the brother needs to stop shooting, did it? Like, he needs to stop shooting. But I agree, man. And this is the thing. You know, even on these worse days, these players are shining a bit more. True has said, we treat these players like boys sometimes. If you played ball, you know certain things you have to do. Facts. Arteta shouldn't need to tell you how to wear a shirt. He shouldn't tell you how to wear a shirt. He shouldn't tell you Mikel Antonio runs into space and he's a physical danger. He shouldn't tell you why you need to follow midfield runners. It is what it is, man. Ironically, I don't even think Xhaka played that bad in comparison to how I've actually seen him play, but I agree, man. And it's like, for me, the players aren't switched on, man. They're not switched on, man. He's got a banger in him, but he ain't going to score that today. When Partey scores, we're going to dedicate a live stream and a video to him. It will happen one day, Partey. But listen, you just got to let it come naturally, man. You're forcing the thing. You got to let it happen. I know it's difficult seeing El Nene do a madness. Xhaka's had a madness this season. It is what it is, man. To be fair, sometimes I think the tactics have been suspect. Like, even one thing I'll criticize Arteta, I think we was a bit too defensive in the first 20. We was a bit too narrow. I don't know what you was on with the Saka and Aubameyang thing. It didn't work. You know, you had to change that. I'm not one to talk about fitness, but he talks about fitness. You've played Aubameyang where he's played significant minutes midweek. You've played Saka where he's been passed off, but he's got an issue with an hamstring. You brought in Marie, who's, been robbed of a couple of minutes and stuff like that. So I'm not criticizing these decisions. I'm just questioning it. Xhaka played 14, 15 times in a row, whatever. He needs to get rested. I don't think tiredness is an excuse, but do you get? I'm having a hard time understanding it, bro. We need to. When Partey scores a banger, we're having a national holiday, man, because he deserves it. He's grinding for it. I love Partey, but it's not gonna do anything, man. I think that's forcing it. He didn't have Partey on strings. He was throwing man around. Lingard had a great game. And this is the problem. Lingard showed the difference between being street smart and not. His first goal's a lovely, good goal. But do you see him pull out? And, midfield runners not being picked up. You lot saw that, right? Lingard showed his street smartness again by taking a quick free kick. The man's played under Alex Ferguson. Don't be fooled by him acting like an idiot and jumping around. He's a dark art specialist. Football's a thinking man's game. We've got players who are fast. We've got man who can play football, pass a ball. We've got guys who look good. We need a thinkers. It's a thinking man's sport. Why do you think Lionel Messi among everything? The odds on Lionel Messi being the best, it shouldn't be. He's short, he's quick, but he's not the most biggest athlete. Away from everything you talk about Lionel Messi, and I love Messi, we could talk forever. The man's got the brain. You know, way before way before Messi's done any of these iconic moments, he's seen it already. He's peeled off. He's seen it 10 seconds before. This is the thing. We're not proactive off the field, and we don't think on the field, you know. On a couple isolated incidences, of course we do, you know, but at the same time, they're still being shaky. Somali speakers, sorry, I said, what position do you think we need to improve on from next season? It's the same old, man. I think you don't even think you need to ask me, my broski, because right back, you know, I hear Chambers, all these guys are doing their thing, but I think we've been down this road, innit? If someone nails it down, fair enough, but I want a right back, innit? You see how Tini's playing left back? We don't talk about Tini. I want a right back of the same caliber, or someone that's just consistent, you know. I want a right back. I think we need a couple of midfielders, definitely a number 8, potentially another number 6 to play with. And instead of Partey and give us those options, I'd say they're minimum. I personally think Arteta wants a striker as well, but that's just me. Make sure you're hitting the like button, man. So yeah, people. Moving on from that, though, we've got a couple of things to get through. You know, we've been here for 21 minutes. Let me actually make some timestamps. Big up my guy for becoming a member. Big up all the members, them. It's timestamp business. What are we gonna get into? We're gonna do let's just do the tactical review. We're gonna start in at 22 past. 21:30. Football is a thinking man's sport. Rise up the likes, people. Rise up the likes. Big up the members, man. The members, them are coming in abundance. I know you lot are good, man. Just waiting for a couple of you to wake up, but a couple of you are stateside, so it makes sense. People wet their pants for Xhaka playing a crossfield pass. You know, I think people scapegoat Xhaka, but I do feel his fans or his stands, the people that beyond just supporting him, you know, them ridiculous fans, I think they just settle for meaty stuff. Like, you know, every midfielder should be able to pass a ball. It's crazy. But let's get into the tactical review, people. Now, as you lot know, in relation to the West Ham game, not to go over the same things, but, you know, cheap mistakes, cheap goals conceded, game management, not being switched on, not being able to stop ourselves when we've been playing bad and we're making mistakes, not to say, okay, cool, nothing from this part. It happened, didn't it? This is the same old, and has been a theme of Arsenal. So depending on how you look at it, it's 2 points dropped for both sides, in my opinion. More so West Ham, because they could have even nicked it even after conceding 3 in the second half. For us, we were never in the game. Really and truly. They obviously, second half, we played a bit better. Ødegaard, Chambers, Lacazette, they stood up to be counted, but generally it was dead. Like, it was dead. And for me, again, the Saka on the left, AUBAMEYANG on the right, it didn't work. I don't understand why Marie came in after he hasn't been playing too many times, and then you're gonna throw him into a game against a top 5 side. I think there's too much there was too much unnecessary rotation, and that took something out of the team, really. And I would love to hear what he has to think about the centre halves. You say Gabriel's tired, but you've played Luiz. What is Xhaka then? So I do think the man management from Arteta and some of his things he's doing is bewildering. But once these players step onto the field, once these players step onto the field, it's them. And away from what Arteta has said or hasn't said, I don't think these players did enough. Whatever game plan Arteta told you, you didn't take heed. Just away from that and playing football for yourselves, you lot didn't police and coach yourselves. You didn't start the game well. We was treating it, with all due respect to West Ham, like I said, you know, their attacking players are playing well. Souček playing. Everyone that we knew is a good baller and has been playing well. They showed their levels in it. Ben Rama, Lingard, Antonio, you know, Bowen, Souček, Rice put in a shift. You know, the centre halves. Nobody's giving Diop his flowers for his part in the first. They played well in it, but it's down to us to be sensible. They're a good team, but we're treating them like they was Barcelona. Way too much sitting off. We couldn't get out of our own half. And again, the first 10, 20 minutes, you need to win that away from home. Win that battle and assert yourself. We didn't do that. And really, you know, both teams needed to do enough, but needed to do a lot more. But it is what it is. So from a tactical point of view, like I said, man, it's quite frustrating. Better yet, it's better drawing than losing. Of course, you know, drawing 3-3 looks a bit better than losing 3-0. But to concede 3 goals in the first half, in the first half an hour, it was crazy. If we look at this, people, from a tactical point of view, I can't lie. West Ham did look like they went 2 banks of 4-4-4-2 in the second half. It looked like David Moyes knew they were going to mess up. But for me, it was frustrating. Now, I don't know if Arteta's told them to do this or whatever, but There's no outball, you know. Lacazette's up here, you know. Odegaard's trying to join him when he can, people. But 9 times out of 10, and if we put in our wingers, you know, we're marginalised in that regards, people. You know, Aubameyang and Saka are quite narrow. You know, to be fair, I don't think we asked enough questions of Kofal. You know, he isn't the quickest, but they had us in our own half. You know, we're passing backwards. You know, they're pressing us and they're being aggressive. And what I liked from West Ham, they were when they pressed us when they could, but they were compact in a nice way. Now, I can't show you lot and do you lot justice with this, but they were compact. And for us, we were just playing backwards, sideways, and we're just losing it. Like, we're going forward and it's not working. We're going forward into Lacazette. He's not going to win it against 2 men. And then it's just being granted back to them. And that first 20 minutes was frustrating because you could see we're going to begin to concede and a bit to concede. And this is where these players need to have common sense. Hold on to the ball a bit more, you know. Police yourselves, people. Away from that, people. And their first goal, again, I can't do it justice, but it's lovely play, man. It's lovely play from everybody. Ben Rama's involved, but the key one for me is Diop. He's played it into his man. Eventually it's gone to Antonio. Antonio sold my man. But the most frustrating thing of this, I applaud you lot were watching it. I applauded West Ham because I think they put a good move together. You can't, from a neutral point of view, as much as I'm an Arsenal fan, you have to respect them. What was frustrating for me, though, is not the move, but you could see it happening. And what did I tell you, lot? Midfield runners. Lingard deserves to be in the England squad based on how he's playing. Only Chambers clocks this run, you know. Souček, forget about that. Souček, actually, Thomas Souček and Lingard, at least 2 times before that, in the first 20, before we've even scored, there was a moment Souček he made a run and there was at least 2 headers that went off target. They're telling you what they're trying to do. It's down to us to read these things. We didn't read it. Lingard's made a run. It's fantastic football from them. Nobody's picked him up. Like I said, Chambers has tried to stop it, but it's too late. Lingard's just made a run. Why Antonio span my man and he's dribbling down this wing? Lingard's just made a run. Football, simple game. Got his effort. I'm not going to lie, people. I'm not blaming Leno for these goals apart from the one that in his near post because it should have been stopped before that. Your goalie is your last line of defense. For me, people, I'm not going to lie, I wasn't happy with the goal. Like, it's a banger from Lingard, but the positioning of Leno, he's given Lingard all this area to aim at. Lingard's made no mistake. You know, the first goal from West Ham, I can't say anything, people. It's a good goal from West Ham. It's frustrating to concede. It's a collective bunch of errors, but it's a good goal. The second and third, I'm not happy with it because, again, we've just conceded. Like I said, first 20, we should be able to say we're playing dead anyways. First 20, we've conceded. Okay, cool. We deserve that. The penny should drop now. So when I'm seeing, again, not to scale, but when I'm seeing people switch off, you know, I love Saka. Saka's busy arguing with the ref, Kieran Tierney, David Luiz, Pablo Mari. And if I haven't said them, Bear Man are there, they're turning their backs. Street smartness. Lingard has just come and taken it. Quick thing. Again, not to scale. Lingard's just taking the free kick quickly. You, man, are caught flat-footed. Man are putting up their hands. Man are looking at Leno. Switch the F on. You know, this is things that Arteta can't tell you. A lot of these players have been around the block. I'm not excusing Saka because you've played enough times now. But with exception to Saka, there's Marie, there's Luiz, there's Leno. If I ain't said their name, they've been around. You've played a lot of professional football games now. You've been around the blocks. You're within reason household names. You shouldn't have to do these things. We've been caught flat-footed. Like I said, it shouldn't have got to that. Credit to West Ham. You know, Bowen as well, you know. Again, Bowen even made a run as well. Like I just said with Souček and Lingard. Again, let me pull it on the other side quickly. Do you not remember? Again, let's pretend it's that side just because I don't want to mess up this, people, just because it's come to me quickly. Do you lot remember that I think it was Xhaka and Tierney? And I said this on my live stream. Do you lot not remember there was a ball? There was a ball over the top, I believe. Fabianski tried to play it. Bowen was inside there. The ball came over the top. And obviously, he couldn't get onto it. He couldn't get onto it and race. But again, they're showing you what they want to do. He's making runs off the ball. And my man didn't look over his shoulder. Neither did Xhaka. That's the problem, you know. Again, West Ham, again, this is why I ask, have we been watching West Ham this season? Were you lot last week really watching what West Ham have been doing? Because, you know, late runs into the box, midfield runners, set pieces, and that front three. These are all the things we saw was what we know about West Ham. But like I said, going back to this goal temporarily, people, quick free kick, which has happened in 2-3 minutes or even less than that after conceding the first. We've been caught flat-footed. Like I said, all these men were poor in that. I don't think it's a foul. Either way, the fact that we're getting hit on the counter since we scored, conceded is a problem. Leno needs to do much better. Much better. I don't know how he's beaten there. I don't know. We have to speak to we need to speak to someone. But the referee was dead. But Leno, I don't know what he was on there, innit? Leno, it shouldn't have got to that, but Leno was terrible. We deserve to be 2-0 down, and I'm fearing the worst here, people. I'm fearing the worst. This was just for me to remember. Let's kick out all of these footballs, people. In fact, let's try it a different way. If you lot remember now, people, let me try remove these footballs. In fact, let's try it this way. If you lot remember, Leno's kicked it to Tierney, right? Tierney's tried to, this is one thing that annoys me about us. At times, it's like we play blind passes. Tierney's tried to knock it first time, right? Remember, yeah? Tierney's tried to knock it first time. Declan Rice has finessed him, yeah? Declan Rice finessed him for that. Then it went to, I believe, Souček. I could be wrong. Yeah, Leno's poor kick, Tierney's even worse kick. My man's out of position. It's simply fed through. It's fed through. We're pissed from that. And then obviously I'm not going to do the rest, but eventually ended up in the back of the net and they got their third people. The second and third goals were very hard for me to take because experienced players are doing it and we're not policing ourselves. When you play games like against the top 5 sides, you have to know first 20 minutes is vital. Win your battles in that first 5, first 10, first 20. When you concede, keep going in it. When you concede, the penny should drop. It didn't drop, so we deserve to be out of it. Obviously, we caught a bit of life, not to scale, but a good bit of play from Ødegaard, even Partey, but Ødegaard and Chambers in particular. Like I said, Chambers might not be perfect, but he shows what you can do when you have a right back that can cross the ball, can get forward, and wants to get forward. Either way, he's put the ball into the box. Lacazette's made something. Yeah, it's a mad deflection, but at that point, it's 3-1 in it, and I thought that was it. And I was just saying to myself, you know what? It's 3-1. At least David Moyes has to speak about the clean sheet, a lack of clean sheet, and chat to his boys. I'm fearing the worst. As mad as it was, I did feel there was goals in this game. Whether we would take it is another thing, and I said it on the live stream. Looking at this goal again, people, as well, the own goal business again. We did well in that regards. Obviously, Lacazette, Partey. I think Lacazette's actually taken it quickly. Found Partey. He's gone to Ødegaard. Ødegaard's gone back to Saka. Back to Ødegaard. He's played that lovely reverse pass. Chambers has pulled it in, and eventually a West Ham man made an effort. Made an effort of it, and obviously it ended up in the back of the net. We'll take that. At that point, it's 3-2. Arsenal haven't scored a goal, people. It's 2 own goals. 2 on goals at that point. Chambers getting forward, it's a good ball, and a couple of times Chambers was putting this is one thing that annoys me about Arsenal now, because even Aubameyang and all of them, because you'll get extra 5+ goals just by doing this. Couple times, the ball's put into nice areas and no one's gambling. Like, let's just use Saka's example. No one's gambling that the defender's going to miss it. Man might just get on that. When I see other teams, they seem to do that. Nobody's gambling, but it's a good bit of play. Obviously, they took a quick free kick and it harmed us. Lacazette took a quick free kick and was able to exploit that. And we had a better second half. We could have lost it in the second half, but it is what it is. Obviously, towards the end again, we had another set piece, and these are the men involved again. If we jump ahead a bit, all of these lot were involved in the build-up. Again, Ødegaard's played a reverse pass. Pepe off the bench. Again, one of the decisions Arteta got right, puts the ball in the back of the net. Lacazette finishes his dinner and gets a legit goal he deserves and keeps up his form, and that's 11 goals for the campaign for Lacazette. We did play all right, but again, it's another game like against Spurs where it's just a thingy. It's just a poor bit of. It's just where we've been playing in patches, really and truly. We can do a lot better than that, but it is what it is in that regards. We got back in it, man. Apologies, Offset. What you said, you are a bandwagonist that makes your show lame, bro. But you're trying credit where due. But you need stable topic of choice so people know what to expect. It's too up and down. Star, you're making no sense. I don't know what you're talking about. Bandwagonness. I don't know what you're talking about. Credit where due. I think, you need to learn not to multitask. Close the Pornhub application and learn how to type, please. Anyways, moving on. It's not making sense. I don't know you. I don't care what you have to say. Please make your own show. Other than that, suck your mum. Moving on. Anyway, so yeah, the benefit was we put together some decent moves. We played good in patches. For me, I'm more concentrated in terms of positives on Ødegaard, Chambers, and Lacazette. But again, it wasn't good enough. And it's another game where turning up is half the battle. If you don't turn up and turning up and being spot on is half the battle. You don't do that, you're in problems. And we failed to do that. We shouldn't have to go 2-3 down to wake up. Arteta shouldn't have to get you in at halftime to wake up. And this is where I have a problem with these players. I don't think it's from a lack of preparation from the analytical team or the coaches. I think these players never get in game mode. When I saw West Ham, They look like a team that went to bed on Saturday and woke up on that Sunday playing football. We didn't. I don't know what we was on. It looked like we was on international break. Either way, he was gone in it. It was a problem. So we struggled in that regards. There's just no real positives. Yeah, you could say we've shown fight and determination and things, and that has been there. But let's start actually starting games, really, because you can't keep doing this. It's a bit like praising us under Emre when we was turning it around in second halves, which is a bit of what we're doing now, people, really and truly. So it is what it is, nonetheless. If we look at it from a tactical, well, from a statistics point of view, people, not that, because that's our other things. I always say clean sheets are crucial. And I had a video that was cut up from my last live watch along before we played West Ham. Arsenal have gone 12 games without a clean sheet in all comps. Again, we've spoken about how we've improved so much defensively. The stats don't lie. How much can you improve defensively if you're not keeping clean sheets? How much can you improve defensively? And better yet, what level can you get to defensively with several players who make silly errors? Like it was whatever player you want to say yesterday, it's going to be someone else, others. Like we've got so many errors within our team. West Ham have scored a joint Premier League high of 9 goals from corners this season, which again is poor for us. Arsenal have conceded just 17% of their goals shipped from set pieces, which is the lowest thingy. But again, crucial periods this month, like against Burnley, we let ourselves down. Well, in fact, I'm gassing. I'm thinking of the home games. Forget that. Apparently, this was the 3rd Premier League game this season in which a team has led by 3+ goals and failed to win. West Brom and Chelsea and Spurs, West Ham. As you lot know, Arsenal have only ever once come back from 3 goals down. We did that a couple of years ago against Bournemouth, which must have been good for the neutrals. Lacazette's on 11 goals for the campaign, and he's bettered his last campaign. Craig Dawson sadly made a bit of history. He's the first player to score an own goal in consecutive Premier League appearances since Conor Cody in 2019. West Ham are the first team to score 2 own goals in a single Premier League game since Swansea in January 2017, and that also happened against us. Souček is the first player to score both a goal and an own goal in the same in the same home Premier League game for West Ham since Frank Lampard. Again, and we didn't even have a shot on target for 20 odd minutes as well. I forgot to mention that. And apparently, you know, against us, apart from 2007, that was the earliest West Ham have ever scored 3 goals. A bit of Ødegaard propaganda, and we have to make his one permanent. You look at his game by numbers, you can see it yourself. In fact, I'm being a bit negative to you lot. I should put that to 200. But as you lot can see, 93% pass accuracy, 95 touches, 16 entries into the final third, 9 crosses, 6 duels won. I don't care for pre-assist. I'm not going to call it pre-assist, but he was involved in at least 2 of the 3 goals. He had 5 touches in the up box. He had 4 take-ons, created 4 chances, had 3 shots, won 2 fouls, and had 1 shot on target. He completed 7 passes in the opposition's box, which is the most by an Arsenal player in a single game this season. This tells me nothing to do with Ødegaard, but just how mediocre we are creative-wise. Because when you look at it, Smith Rowe, Ødegaard, and Willian are now up there, even Pepe. And these lot either haven't been at Arsenal for too long or are marginalised roles or have had marginalized roles this season. So this tells you collectively the nucleus of the squad isn't pulling their weight. Ødegaard, hopefully he can stay. Apparently Ødegaard has played more minutes in the Premier League for Arsenal than he has for Real Madrid. He created 4 chances today. I've already said that. Lacazette continues his great record in a sense of, you know, he scored 5 in his last 6 against West Ham. Partey regained possession 14 times against West Ham, which is a game high figure. This is a comment I wanted to touch on later, people, which is a reminder there, so ignore that, but we will get on that. Arsenal, you know, we're undefeated against teams that end in United. We've won 11 and lost none of our 14 matches against teams called United in all comps under Mikel Arteta. West Ham at a point scored 3 goals from 3 shots on target, you know, so they were 3 up after how many minutes? 3 shots on target. We took 20 minutes before we even had one. Give credit to Callum Chambers. You know, he created 3 chances, which is the most in any game for Arsenal, which again, no disrespect to Chambers, but shows the other players are not doing much. He had the most crosses, you know, which again, other players should be there. Clearances is where you should see Chambers. To be fair with you. And to be fair, shout out to Marie. I think he grew into the game, but he actually stopped Bowen from scoring as well. This is where game management is crucial because there were just 98 seconds between the opener and their second goal. So again, wake up. They say you're most vulnerable when you've just scored. We're probably even more vulnerable when we've just let one in, people. So it is what it is. And obviously Lingard got his 5th goal in all comps against Arsenal and well-deserved, people. They played very well in that game. They deserved it. So we live to fight another day, but it's a game of two halves. It's another frustrating game, and it's another game ultimately we just didn't play well. Yeah, it was. I give us praise for the heroics and the comeback and things like that, but it's all dead in that regards, people. So on that topic, that's where the tactical review ends. What are you lot saying in the comments? Is Star Lord still here? Hopefully he's went and watched some porn or something, because my man's just moving mad. Leno doesn't inspire confidence. For me, bro, when I said this, not saying you, but you lot killed me. I said Leno's a good shot stopper. I think he's shaky. God strike me down if I'm lying. How many times have I said I would look for another goalie? I like Leno, but he's too erratic. He's way too erratic. And for all three of those goals, I'm not going to lie, it's not his fault. Everyone has a hand to play. But the Lingard one, I looked at him like, look at his positioning, people. You know, he's made up Lingard's mind. Lingard, it take nothing away from Lingard's strike, but Leno's gonna get nothing on it. The third one, he should do better. The second one, he should do better. And Leno's been making these mistakes. His distribution's been a bit hot and cold this season. And listen, a lot of people are talking about Martinez. No one's talking about Martinez's error himself, but it is what it is, man. We need to do a lot more. Bro, these guys ain't bro. That goes for football in general. These season. That's why Conte, Pep, all these managers look wavy when they're moaning, because players are not thinkers these days. They don't think as much. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. I told you. I've been telling people's wives keep coming and watching Deluded. I'm just here making content, and it's just getting madder and madder, man. I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. I didn't even choose violence, bro. I'm just here talking about football. Donnies are coming here and doing whatever. Like I said, wives out there, please, if you know your husband is insecure or your man is insecure, please go into another room and watch me, because he's gonna get him, rather than try and be wavy or fix up or ask you what's going wrong in the relationship. He's gonna come and hate on me, and you know, I would love to beat him up and then whatever, but you know, it's the Google and the internet. So please, do what you need to do, man. The wives are crazy, man. It is what it is. Bro, forget the pre-assist is dead, man. But I hear you. And for me, the biggest thing with Odegaard is you're now putting in the performances with the technical quality to match people. That means we can get into the other bits of this live stream as well. We finally got over the tactical thing. Yeah, man. Let's get into some other talking points. Let's get into, let's cover my let me talk on Odegaard, people. Let me talk on Odegaard, people. Let me talk on Odegaard. But I have to scroll up if I'm going to speak on Odegaard, people. Now, looking at Odegaard, people, for me, he's become a leader. Now, a lot of you is like, oh, has he proved you wrong? Has he proved you wrong? Has he proved you wrong? There was never nothing for me to be proved wrong. Call it the DG effect. On a serious note, there was nothing I needed to be proved wrong, because it's not that I didn't think Odegaard was a bad player. I know he's wavy. I know he can play football. I know 1-2s, skills. He's got that. I've said that. You don't get into Real Madrid without that. But at some point, that is dead. You need to take it to the next level. So Bias has got technical quality, man. Don't see the application. I feel Odegaard needed time to settle, but I wasn't prepared for him to have too long, because we need him to hit the ground running, and he's doing it. My challenge was not playing well in stages, which he done. Can you do it for 90? Can you look like a Real Madrid player in and amongst these peasant Arsenal footballers? He looks like that. In the last few weeks, it's down to him to continue it, but he's looking like a leader, leading by example. For me, again, he came off the bench in against Olympiacos, made a slight difference. Against Spurs, made the difference. Yesterday, didn't stop from start to finish. Regardless, offered himself around. That is what I want to see from him. He's good enough. He's good for the whole game. He wants to make a difference. Even like Pepe to a degree, they're not accepting their fate. When we're sitting here and saying, oh, they're not giving the ball to Odegaard, they're not feeding him this, that, and the other. A lot of that is true. But I always say at some point, you can't accept it. You need to tell, man, give me the effing ball, or in the changing room, I'm going to smack you up. That's how football is, isn't it? And I think last few weeks, Odegaard's been taking it in his stride. I think the penny's dropped now. It's a bit sad because he's technically on loan. It feels like we're growing a mango tree and these mangoes are going to Spain, because he's not our player, he's not our property, and it makes it look even more costly. There's no buy option. How much can you really buy him if you don't know if you're in Europe? Can you really spend 40 million without going for a centre-half that allegedly Arteta wants, or another number 6, or without selling players? I don't know. But he needs to be back at this club on loan minimum. Now, I don't want to get my hopes up, because I need to remember, as a fan, his goal was always, this is a relationship of mutual interest. He didn't just see Arsenal say, I want to come, and neither did we. It's a relationship of convenience. We needed a creative man in January. We didn't have the money to do something. His situation at Real Madrid wasn't rosy, and we've given him a couple million for him on loan, and it's worked. The goal has always been Madrid. You know, how do we know after the Spurs game or after West Ham, then he's not sitting there saying, yo, the Madrid man have to be taking me in now? You know, we don't know if he wants to stay or not. I hope he does. I know he feels comfortable. You see him talking to Saka, Smith Rowe. He's of them sort of ages there. I'm sure London is a great place for a young man with money as well. Everything's set up for him, but we have to remember, to a degree, the goal is at Real Madrid. And I honestly believe, unless they make it abundantly clear it's not happening for you at Real Madrid, he will go back, because you don't know whether, if Zidane's still their manager, then that gives us stronger cause for concern. But you'd imagine that squad has to be rebuilt, and I'd imagine Odegaard could be used in that regards. If he is sold to raise funds, because allegedly they want Mbappe and things like that, then we need to go for him. You know, 40, 50 million by God's grace, you know. And it's even more concerning, the only winners are Real Madrid, because they either get a player for their first team, they either get a player that's increasing in value, or there's a bidding war, people. For me, it's, and again, it still needs to continue, but I'm like what I'm seeing. I like what I'm seeing. And for me, the thing is, I don't want to get caught up on Odegaard, because he's not our player. You know, if he says, no, I don't want to stay, I want to go and try again at Real Madrid, or I want to go this club, what are we going to do then? So while I want Edu to push for Odegaard and minimum make it another loan, a full season, you can't get your hopes up. We need plan B, E, C, D targets. If Odegaard is staying, cool, what are we doing with that? Are we going to go for another 6 or a number 8 now? If Odegaard's leaving, okay, cool, what are you going to do now? So have your other targets. Try hell-bent to keep him, but have your other targets, because it seems, I like in theory the logic of, if I can't get this player, I don't want any others, but we're not going for them sort of players there. There's always others, unless you're Messi and Mbappe and all of these things. It's crazy, man. To be fair, bro, you just got to bone out. You just got to bone out, Aston. You've just got to bone out. That's all football's about, you know. I was one of the youngest on one of my teams. I remember I used to chat crap to the centre half. Bro, you eat man in 2. But I used to say, oh, Bangy, if you don't pass man the ball, pass man the ball. It's about a respect thing. And players low-key respect you when they see that. It's like a young G. I'm pretty sure at some point, we might not even see it. I'm pretty sure Saka and Smith Rowe, they were nervous in the first team to make mistakes or not shoot or pass the ball. Now, they got to say, so what? I shot what? Pass me the ball. This is football's a psychological game. How many of you have played football? You know how this thing works. But like I said, Odegaard's becoming a leader. He's doing what he needs to do. I want him to stay, but again, we need other targets, because we don't know if he wants to stay. We don't know if he's able to keep him. We're all at Real Madrid's mercy in that regards. We're not in Europe at this moment in time. We don't know if we're going to be in Europe. So where's that 40+ million going to come from for Odegaard? And how, if we are going to spend 40, 50 million on him, what does that impact the other areas, you know? Because for me, you need a 6. I think if he stays, I think we can go for more of an industrial number 8. And I think regardless, you need to bring in a 6, because again, it doesn't have to necessarily be Basuma or these players we want. Can you find someone cheap to do the job? Because when Partey isn't there, we're in issues, people. For me, the minimum is a loan. Hopefully a loan with an option, you know. And if we was to, you know, could we even do a thing where if we're broke, all right, cool, we'll keep him for another year on loan, buy option there, and splash some peas on another number 8? Because I would love the option of having, I wouldn't even mind developing Odegaard to play in a pivot with Partey, but I think the 10 role is him. You know, you play him in a 10, you put an hour or something next to Partey, and then you've got that creativity. And obviously you got Smith Rowe, Odegaard, even the 8. There's different things you can use. We need, over a 38 game period, we need different options. Like you've seen, sometimes Smith Rowe and Odegaard, we force them in the team. Sometimes none, sometimes one, sometimes Lacazette, sometimes AUBAMEYANG. We need different flavors, people. You don't eat the same meal every day. You need to be able to change things up. So yeah, man, I hope he stays, but I hope Edu's on the case with that. But I don't know, man. I really don't know in that regards what's going to happen. So one thing it shows is that, you know, it's costly to not have that buy option clause, because we keep hearing there's a willingness from both teams to talk at the end of the season. You could talk to your blue in the face. There's no hardcore evidence, people, in relation to us being able to keep him. We're at Real Madrid's mercy, and we're just trying to utilize the fact of, you know, I'm not being funny, but we've given you about 5 million quid for Ceballos on loan. You can help us out with Odegaard. You know, maybe he does stay another year because it's only been a couple of months. Real Madrid might sit there and say, all right, cool, you've been cool for half a month. You're shining in a rubbish Arsenal team. You need to show it a bit more, which which could be harsh, but that could be what they're on. So I do hope he stays. We need to move heaven and earth to bring him to this club on a permanent basis. He has to be here on loan minimum. But again, if I'm Odegaard, you know, Arsenal is cool. I know you feel good here, and I'm sure you give Arteta and Arsenal their props for giving you a chance. But bro, the way he's playing or way he's been playing, bro, if Champions League teams come for you on loan, you might as well take that. And he's shown he's willing to play in a lot of places. He's played a couple of loan spells. I'm sure he's been at Herberveen, he's been at Vitesse. Obviously, he's been at Sociedad. He's not afraid to move to play. He's been Arsenal. Now, if a Champions League team offers you football, depending on who they are, bro, you're gonna go and play that, aren't you? You know, so we need to stop assuming that he wants to stay and things like that. We need to, you know, if you want him to stay, you need to show him he's a Champions League player and he should be playing Champions League. I hope we keep Donny, but we'll see in it. We'll see. And that's that on Odegaard, people. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. That's that. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. Extended loan with a buy option, my broski. Or if we can take him permanently, I wouldn't mind because you'd imagine there's resale value there for him anyways, man. I hope so. He's not a DM. He's in box to box. But we don't need a DM like that. We just need someone that can sweep up. You know, I don't care how you use the number sixes, just as long as they're there, because their primary job is always going to be to break up play, man. To be fair to you, they're probably looking to sell him permanently within the next 2 years or so. Like you said, if he's contracted until 2023, within the next 2 years, you either want to bring him back into the fold and give him a new deal or sell, man. Really. So we'll see what happens, but we're at their mercy, man. No, I wouldn't, to be fair. I want to buy him outright because then you're going to have, I know Aubameyang isn't scoring goals, but we're going to need someone that can score goals, man. Aston, I agree. I don't think Aubameyang played as bad as man making out. They're forgetting one of his free kicks led to a goal. He had a good sliding challenge, but I still think he was meaty. I don't think he should have started, and he proved why he shouldn't have started, and he was dead, man. Hamsik, I agree with you. I just love how he celebrates pure passion and love, bro. I hear that, but Coquelin was on all of that stuff, man. Bro, we're a beggy club, bro. We're a beggy club. We don't like, if you're not gonna do the scouting thing, then you know we're just on a partner thing. Like we're just going around. It's like we're doing partner, and when it's our time to pay, we're just ducking everyone, really. But it is what it is, man. I've already spoken on his mentality. I said that was a madness. You know, he stopped. He was being a passenger for a sec, and then he's seen what this is about. He's seen that it's a sink or swim thing, and he's on this, man. I really respect that, man. Man said they're hating because you got their wife's palms out for your content. It's not my fault, man. It's not my fault. His wife probably wants me to sign her titty, my ear. I love it, and I love it. 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 But yeah, man. Anyone saying Aubameyang to Real Madrid, you man are dream chasing. You know, they need to rebuild their squad. Baby, are you sure? What else he looks saying, man? But yeah, people, it is what it is in relation to Odegaard. Bro, we ain't got the cash for that, man. You know, get the cash. We need the cash. I can't lie. I wouldn't say that. I don't think it was emotion. I think it was, you know, we're only speaking about that because Aubameyang isn't scoring goals. I think it was the right decision. You know, we didn't have 70, 80 million to spend on him. You know, it's sad, but if you score goals, nobody talks nonsense. He's not doing the one thing he has been doing. And it looked like he was going to keep scoring goals at least for the next 2 or 3 years. I'd say at least for this season, it would have bought us time to sign someone. You know, I don't agree with this. There obviously is an emotional element, but I think it made sense because you're not going to bring in another attacker that's able to score goals. It's like we've got to remember this, really. And that brings me on to Aubameyang, really. That's an interesting comment and an interesting one to speak on Aubameyang. I just feel fans are quite emotional and reactive unnecessarily, and they there's no loyalty in football. Now, again, I'm going to get into all of this and cover my thoughts. I can't tell people what to think, but I do struggle when you lot just reply on some emotional thing. It is quite frustrating to sit there and listen to it, but we move, people. So if we just, broski, I need to delete half of this so I can actually speak. What's all of this? Let's actually delete. Let's keep going, because you're making it hard to thingy. There you go. That's this. We'll cover this in a sec, people. We'll cover this in a sec. We'll cover this in a sec. We'll cover this in a sec. Where is it? I'm almost forgetting. Did I actually write it? Here we go. So that's ODEGAARD, people. We spoke on ODEGAARD. Should we start deleting stuff so it just looks a bit better? Now, Aubameyang, folks. Aubameyang. Now, for me, I think he will be back. I have no allegiances to Aubameyang. I have allegiances to my football club, and just let me spray what I want to spray. I believe Aubameyang will be back. I think it's very telling. Performances make the difference, and I'll get onto it. But he's got 9 goals. Lacazette's got 11. Lacazette is the best thing since sliced bread to all Arsenal fans, myself included. Aubameyang's in the worst form ever. This is all the league, by the way, people. Again, it's about performances. We know Lacazette has more to his game. We know Lacazette's performances have been playing very well. Right now, Lacazette is the technical fit for the team. Aubameyang, I said he shouldn't have started against West Ham. He shouldn't have, you know, and he proved why. That right wing thing was dead as well. I think you got to bring Pepe into this setup now. What I will say is that I just think there's a sense of disloyalty. Now, loyalty in football goes as far as you're playing well, but I just think, you know, I refuse to give up on this man. He's got 9 goals. It's not like he's not scoring. Again, he needs to somehow get 20, and he'll probably need to bag 2 or so in every game to get something similar to that. But it'd be his first season where he's returning something meaty. He's carried this team, you know. Where I'm from, you don't switch up on your guys. Like, you don't. This man's carried the team. He's been a very good sign in his first iffy moments. Like I said, am I excusing him of playing poor? No. Am I excusing him of not scoring and being ineffective? And for me, I don't care speaking to Sky Sports. I just don't see, apart from Instagram, I don't hear you talk. And I'm not one of these sort of you have to slap the badge sort of fans, but I would like to hear from my gaffer people. I mean, from the captain, because the captain for me echoes the thoughts of everyone. I don't necessarily want to hear Tierney or hear Lacazette. You should be speaking for everyone. And I don't think it's true to say he just speaks when we win, but it does. I can see why fans would come with that. Like I said, I don't switch up on my guys. I think form is temporary, class is permanent. I do think he'll start scoring goals again. I do think there's more to this, though. I don't know what it is. I know there's been personal issues, just poor form, not being fed service. I just think, you know, Aubameyang, I don't think we play to his strengths, and I just think he has no interest in staying through the middle, and he's just playing poor. You know, what I want to see you do is go and play for Gabon, go clear your head, and then come back with some intent. With what I've said, though, once again, football is a results business. I don't care what you was doing a year ago. It's about what you're doing now. Again, you're not scoring goals now. It's not irrelevant. It's irrelevant. You know, with Aubameyang, his general play is not as bad as people make out, but it's quite meaty. You know, we've got Lacazette, who's not a prolific goal scorer, but can play. We've got Aubameyang, who you kind of got to double down with Aubameyang. If he scores, it's irrelevant. And it ain't happened. Like I said, he needs to be dropped. I refuse to turn my back on him, but right now he needs to be out of the squad. And to be fair, you're not going to sell him. The best time to sell him was last year, because you had a year left. He was scoring goals. He's a shadow of his former self. He signed extended wages and he's got a new deal. And plus, he's not playing well. Who's going to touch him? So you're stuck with him. You know, it's fickle, but the minute you start playing better, people shut the fuck up about it. Pardon my language. It's almost like this man, you know, I've got a lot of bias to Aubameyang. I'm frustrated with him as hell, but I think he'll be back. But right now, he needs to come out of the team. What I'm seeing is, I was more annoyed about Olympiacos. I don't agree with this attitude thing people are coming out with now. It's quite ridiculous, but I just don't feel you're the right fit. You're just playing bad, and this is it. Everybody's going through moments of form, and Aubameyang, this is the first time he's gone through it, really. Like I said, for me, you know, we got to keep balance. Why is it that, and again, I don't want to make it about the players, but why is Lacazette the best thing since sliced bread? He's on 11 goals and 9 goals of Aubameyang, it's all over. I think that tells you the expectations of the two. I think that tells you indirectly people like Lacazette's strengths. They don't lean on him for scoring goals, sort of thing. Like I said, Aubameyang needs to be dropped. For me, he needs to do what I was saying Pepe needs to do when it weren't working. Lacazette the same, put in the hard yards. Go back to the drawing boards after training. Go do a bit more. You know, it seems like he's stagnating. It seems like there's no push to want to improve. You know, he seems like he needs to react, and it's all going well. It's been going well for you, Aubameyang. This is your first bit of adversity in an Arsenal shirt from a personal point of view, I'd say, because you've always been scoring goals. For whatever reason, I don't know. Of course, the minute he stopped scoring goals, we can sit here and say, yeah, he's on the decline. It was stupid to make him sign a new deal. And a lot of people are saying it was stupid for Aubameyang to get a new deal. They're now saying Lacazette should get a new deal. Make of that what you will. Again, like I said, he hasn't been doing the business. Please don't make you think this is no young shout, young spay. I was listening to that earlier, but this is no Aubameyang apologist party. He's not doing the business. He's got 2 years left. He's 31. You're not getting no bucks for him. You're getting 40 million, 30 million, if that, with COVID tax and poor form, and you're not going to be able to sign the top striker with that. Really and truly, he needs to improve. But at the same time, statistics don't lie. Man's got 84 goals in 140 games. Yes, he's been on mad droughts. Look at it, it's dead. And we've cut every excuse for Aubameyang. Playing on the wings, playing up front, not playing to his strengths. All of these are valid, but he hasn't been putting in the shift. He hasn't. And he has had a knock and things like that. It's been a poor season from him. He's not been a consistent goal scorer, really. But I think he'll get back to it. If he doesn't, bro, we've got a decision to make, innit? Everyone's a genius in hindsight, but we knew what we was doing with Aubameyang. Like I said, when Aubameyang signed that new deal, I said the moment he signs a new deal, you need to be scouting the next man, because every year you should be relying less and less of Aubameyang. This year it is what it is. Next year he could still be part of the team scoring goals and that. But man need to see Pepe doing something, Laka, if he's there doing something, or the next man, and all the other attacking players chipping in. And then that third year, he's a marginalised figure before he leaves the club, people. He's got 9 in the Prem. Obviously, let's do a bit of Aubameyang propaganda and save him a bit. With all comps form, people, let's save him a bit. 14 goals in 31. Bro, the man's a gunman, man. Obviously, he's a gunman, man. We're going to allow him FA Cup and all of that, Community Shield tax. So we got to put that down to 13. But I'm leaving it at 31. 14 and 31. Come on, man. Sometimes the numbers do lie. It's about the general performance, because the general performance hasn't been up there in comparison to Lacazette. But like I said, I don't like this either raw thing. But I just find it. I don't know. I just find it funny how one's in the 2 goals separate them. One's played significantly more minutes, ironically, I think, of late. And one's in the best form of their life. One's, trash. I'm not saying, I don't like I don't like football fans doing either or, I don't, even United, just because Rashford's there, I'm sure Rashford and Martial got their little beef. I don't condone that, but I just find it funny. Like, I care about Arsenal Football Club. Aubameyang right now should not be in that starting 11. Go back to basics. Let the penny drop. Don't sulk, get back to business, because you're not in the lineup, forget all the way before the whole things in the lead up to Spurs and this game. I've been saying, and you guys have been saying, right now, Aubameyang isn't the right fit for the team. When he does the job, he is, people. What's going on here? I'm bugging out. I just clicked on Aubameyang again. I thought I didn't mean to do that. Meant to find Lacazette. Apologies, people. Lacazette's doing his thing as well. We're going to get onto Lacazette in a sec, but listen, it's down to Aubameyang, innit? First bit of adversity, you've got to respond, and I know it's in you, because you weren't a household name as a striker. I'm sure you've dealt with doubts, people questioning your attitude. I'm still going to retain faith in Aubameyang. I'm not going to drop. I think he's earned that. He's not playing well. I do think you can do 2 things. You can criticize him and retain faith. When I say retain faith, that doesn't mean starting lineup. Right now, Aubameyang is super sub. Right now, you're a second half substitute. Until you can show me more, you don't deserve to be there ahead of Lacazette, because he's earned it. Pepe's earned it. Odegaard's earned it. Smith Rowe's earned it. Saka didn't have the best of games, but historically, Saka's earned it. And even Willian, I'm not Willian's biggest fan, but he's been putting in a shift, of recent. We all know who Willian is. We all know Willian's not the clue, but this is it. And get back on it. And I think that because it's been Aubameyang, because he's been the captain, there's been a lot of complacency. And I think fans at times can be unhealthy, because man was saying to sell Aubameyang the year before we won the FA Cup. People saying it before that. People saying sell him for 70 million, even though there was no talk of that. So fans can be a bit illogical, a bit irrational, a bit emotional, in my humble opinion. Like, I'm not being funny. Some of you sit there and back some of these midfielders who have been here for shit years, and you're going to turn your back on one of the best strikers, if not the best out-and-out striker we've signed in the Emirates thing. Like I said, 2 things can be true. I want him to turn it around. I retain faith in you, because I think you've earned my faith because of what you've done. Same time, you're not in my starting lineup, and you need to up it, because we ain't got time to carry people. I don't care who you are. I don't want this football club to carry people. If we have to carry someone, it should be the young G's. It should be Saka and Smith Rowe and that. But they're the ones that have been consistent. And even if it's Aubameyang here, people, if it's the mistakes we made against West Ham, in general, it's these experienced players that are inconsistent, making mistakes all the time. Why is it Smith Rowe gets it? Why is it Saka gets it? Why is it Tierney? Fair enough, he was poor for 45 minutes, but Tierney's been here 2 seconds, he gets it. Saka's been in the first team 2 seconds, he gets it. Gabriel's a young G, inexperienced really as well, he gets it, Odegaard's been here for a couple of months. Again, another young one. Why are these young ones who are not really in August, were not key parts of the team or weren't even here. Why did they get it? Why did they define Arsenal's values more? And that's for Aubameyang and these other experienced players to fix up. Aubameyang, you're our captain. So go off to Gabon, sorry, patting yourself, national pride, forgive yourselves for what's happened and come back with a new mentality. But for me, you should not be in the lineup. Obviously, if you come back and you score against Liverpool, you're a hero, but I just don't think it's been there, man. And what I'm not liking from Aubameyang, he's sulking a bit in the sense of he used to have that positive nature in that a chance won't come to him, but he'll go again. He seems like he's not getting into those areas. That's it for me. What's alarming for me. But I think he'll be back. But if he's not back, we deal with it. I don't care if he comes. I care if he comes back, of course. But if he doesn't come back, we sign someone else. We don't carry someone. It's down to Lacazette to prove he can keep doing this thing, because it's sad because we've got a goal scorer who's, when he's not scoring goals, and like you've seen now, he's been carrying us and probably overperforming for large portions since he's been here. We've got Lacazette, who right now, flavor of the month. Let's be real. Again, we don't know what we're getting for 38 games. We signed a new deal. He signs a new deal. We might be in similar territory. I don't know. But that's just what I believe, folks. So we'll see, man. What are you guys saying? I wouldn't say all plus 30s can go. It's a bit ageist, but I do think we need a rebuild. He does deserve a run of games. I wouldn't say I'm part of an Aubameyang defense league. I'm part of Arsenal Football Club, man. Like, that doesn't mean that doesn't mean I get upset or get excited. If on one hand, saying I think he's gonna come back and recognizing that he's been poor is one thing. I'm a fan of equality, so you're gonna go on timeout, Big Celt, because what you're moving a bit mad. What I don't like is agendas. Like, two things can be true. If I've said, that I don't think he's gonna, that he needs to be dropped, what is wrong with wanting him to come back, people? This is it. He's having one poor season and he needs to face the music and sit on the bench. He's been dead, but it's crazy, bro. Man are reactionary. Mad reactionary. And this is what has a problem when you're relying on, man. I think Aubameyang will come back. If he doesn't, we look over that. It's coming like you lot support your own. You lot support being right ahead of actual Arsenal Football Club. It's quite poor in that regards. If he doesn't come back, he doesn't come back, man. You guys need to stop loving these players more than the club. In the end of the day, these players can always leave, but the club should always go first. I think that must be at someone in the chat. That could never be me, because I've just said that, but fair play. And I think you lot are just getting too emotional with it, man. Whether you're Aubameyang's biggest fan or Aubameyang's harshest critic, there's too much emotion in it. Like, all I can say is I think he's coming back. I think he's deserved a bit of credit to back him through this terrible form. But at the same time, once again, for those of you that are blind, because it's like Big Celt doesn't want to read. For Big Celt, let's scroll all the way up, please, Big Celt. If I'm Aubameyang's defense league, you must be Dyslexic FC, because again, that being said, this is a results business and about the now. Needs to be dropped. Not doing the job. Simple as that. Simple as that. I don't know what more you want a guy to say beyond that, man. But man are crying in this thing. Big Celt, you're normally one of the good ones. Please don't be a bitch. Bro, I can't tell if man are bantering, because you're all saying the same things. And plus, bro, forget that, man. There's no violence, man. There's no violence. Big Celt's my guy. There's no violence. Anyways, but let's go on with Aubameyang as well, though, folks. Let's get on to Aubameyang, man. Man said, let's get on to Aubameyang. Let's get on to Lacazette. And this is the thing, man. I can't lie to you lot. A lot of you are saying Lacazette, new deal, this, that, and the third. I hear you lot. I hear that, people. I hear that. Like, he's got 11 goals. For me, forget the goals. It's about the performances. Like, he's playing well. He's pressing. He's holding up the ball. He's doing all the things Lacazette was doing that year he won player of the season. I think, personally, he's, like I've said here, I think it's that lacquer with the swagger of old. Like, he's back. He believes in himself again. Like, he's got that. I think at times last season and to a degree this year, he forgot himself. He looked a cup, like I've said here, he looked a cup figure of times. He looked helpless. He looked like he wanted the ground to open up. He looked like he felt sorry for himself. Now I see he's got his mojo back. I don't know if that's because of extra hours on the training ground, work with Arteta, soul searching. I don't know what. Please make sure you're doing up the likes as well. I don't know what it was, people, but I think he's back. That being said, at 29, after what we've seen with Lacazette, with Aubameyang, also we've got Willian. Are we going to add Lacazette to that? I don't know. I do think I think personally, by logic, you should probably move Lacazette on and try and get someone else, because as much as I think Lacazette is wavy, surely you should be able to find someone that is able to score goals better than Lacazette. But I'd say away from that, has hold up play, has link up play, because I shouldn't praise you for that. If you're bought for 50 million, and you're meant to be a top striker at the time, you should be able to link up play and all of these sort of things. So I think there is legit reason to keep Lacazette, because I think people underestimate having a number 2 or another striker within your setup, really and truly. And it's only highlighted now with Aubameyang playing poorly and the need for different strengths. As you lot know, it's a 38-game calendar. I think Lacazette has good strengths. I think earlier on in the season, and it's not going to happen now because obviously Odegaard and Smith Rowe have emerged, but he looked good in that little 10 role as well. I think for the last couple of games, I know he's got to start against Spurs, which he was going to be on the bench for Aubameyang, unfortunately. And he started again yesterday. I feel like times he's been unlucky to be on the bench because he deserves to play football like Pepe. In relation to a new deal, I'm not sure though, people. The form has to continue really to tip me, because I think yes, I think no. I think no, because when I remove my emotion and I ask myself, can he do this for 38 games? As much as I like Lacazette, I don't think he is one of those players that can do it for 38 games. Aubameyang pure was one in terms of the goals, but I don't think he is. I think Lacazette is a player where he'll play good in patches. He's got strengths, but the meat of that 38 game period, I think he's not able to. And again, you're only as, on one hand, as a striker, like Aubameyang shows the parallel, you need to do more than just scoring goals. But at the same time, you can only be a certain level if you don't score goals. The reason why Lacazette's hold up play, the pressing, his defensive outlook, they're all great. But the reason we focus on all of those is because he doesn't score goals. Again, I'm not saying Lacazette or Harry Kane. Clearly, Kane's better, and I'm not using this to mock Lacazette, but Harry Kane, I'm not saying it's better or whatever, but what he does is better. But he drops deep, he works hard, he offers defensive. I've seen Bamford do it. They score goals. You have to be able to score goals. Goals win games, and you're a striker. That's your job. And for the outlay at 29 years of age, and that probably impacts us, what we're doing with Martinelli through the middle, potentially a new striker coming in, it's not making sense. It isn't. As much as I want him to stay, it's 11. He scored 11 goals and bettered his goal scoring for last year. But for me, it's the performance. His performances, even sometimes he hasn't got a goal to match. I think he's played well. Spurs, he played well. United away, one of his top 5 performances for me. Did he play against Liverpool? I could be bugging, but Liverpool, I'm going to say. Leicester, I'm sure. He's played well in big games. He's the Lacazette of old, but in relation to a new deal, the form has to continue. He's 30 in May. He's got a year left. You could make a case of signing him for another two years. If I'm him, I'm going for a 3-year with an option of a 4th. I'm saying, well, Willian's got it. Why can't I? He's got a good return, 2 assists. Must admit, thought Lacazette would have better in that regards for assists. He's normally good for that, but it's a minor. It's an absolute minor. And again, as much as I rate Lacazette, man, 161 games, 61 goals, 28 assists. It's not bad, but is that hardly striker worthy? Is that what we thought is this where we thought 50 million was getting us? No banter, not trying to draw him out, but is that what we spent 50 million on? I'm just getting you lot to see some stuff you might want to see, because I want to keep Lacazette, but I can't just do the emotional thing. Do I think it's the right decision? On one hand, I think yes. On one hand, I think no, because it falls into the category for me of El Nene played good for 2 seconds. El Nene new deal. Should we give Chambers a new deal? And all of these other things. Some of these storylines we've been here before, in my opinion. Lacazette's been here for a minute. It's got 61 goals. I don't want to just use goals because we know he's a big player. For me, I won't know. I don't know if he's a fan favorite. He's definitely not a legend, but I think I hold him in high regards. I wouldn't say he's a fan favorite, but when he leaves this club, I'll salute Lacazette. I love the passion. I love the pressing. I love the aggression. I like that he gets this. I like Lacazette big games as well. He's on this thing. But if we're real, how many, even the big game thing, he turns up in big games. How many big games are there? I'd argue, for one, every game in the Premier League for us is a big game because we're not getting top 4. But how many big games are there? How many times are you going to play the top 6? What about the other games? What about the latter stages? I wouldn't mind Lacazette running down his deal, but I understand moving him on. I do think you need that plan B striker. Obviously, if he signs for reduced terms, I salute that. But maybe Lacazette's agents can twang a Champions League club for him, whether he deserves it or not. So I was right about him bagging against Liverpool, people. I was right. So what? Yeah, he's got 11 goals for this campaign. He scored in some big games as well. What? A goal against Chelsea, Liverpool. You know, I'm sure Leicester as well, Spurs, West Ham. You know, he's got it to match. Lacazette's been a bad boy. Five in the last 4 games, he's got 3 goals. And forget all the goals, it's the performance. What I've been liking. You know, he's good for the Haaland youngsters. I know for a fact he's great off the field, but again, with my heart, if I'm saying new deal, it ain't making sense, people, because we've seen the good, bad, and the ugly, and we can't let form sway us. When players are playing very bad, we can't get too excited. A lot of you, myself included, we were like, yo, Odegaard's a good player, but he needs to show us a bit more. He's looking a bit soft. Now he's playing well. We're all talking about keeping him. So we can't let form gas us a bit. And I think I'm not saying nothing with Odegaard. I'm just saying we have to keep a level head. When players are playing poorly, we can't draw too many conclusions. When players are playing good, we can't draw too many conclusions. They need to show us consistency. And sadly, you know, Lacazette isn't one of those players that has showed me over a 38-game period. And I'm not trying to be harsh. You know, Lacazette is a bad boy footballer. You know, last year he got 10 and 16 assists. The season before that, you know, it comes down to our structure, what we're trying to do. Lacazette's future complicates things, because before you talk about Lacazette, you need to sort out all these players that are on loan and half of these players that need to be moved on before you even do that. But you have to look at Lacazette. Obviously, the most he's bagged in a season is probably 13, 14. And I actually think, for what it's worth, I think this season will be the closest he gets to 20 league goals if he continues this. You know, he's on 14. I back him to do that. But crucially, I have to say, is he worth giving a new deal? Yes and no, because I think yes, for obvious reasons for what we're seeing, but I think no at the same time, people, because again, look at the record for 50 odd million. And I will say, did we get the Lacazette? Even if you don't want to talk about goals, have we got the Lacazette we thought we was getting? Or is this a different Lacazette? Because when we signed Lacazette, I thought he was scoring goals. I thought we was going to see all the things he's doing, but scoring goals. You know, as much as I have praised him throughout this segment, I shouldn't praise you for pressing. I shouldn't praise you for link-up play. I shouldn't praise you for being up for big games. Surely this is things that come with playing for a big club. This is something that comes from being captain of Lyon, playing for your country. You get what I'm saying? When the truth is somewhere in the middle. So I don't really know, and I'm happy I don't have to make that decision, people. So yeah, in relation to Lacazette, we'll see. But every game like this, he makes his case stronger and stronger, people. It's as simple as that. And this is what I want to see, you know. But I will say, we've been down there with Aubameyang. A lot of people saying get your comments in as well if you think he should. But if we do sign him to a new deal, those that are calling for him, what happens if he doesn't? Great, but what happens if he carries on? You know, if he goes through a dip now like Lacazette, and we have him, Willian, and Lacazette all on big money. We also got to remember David Luiz. Apparently, Arteta wants to give him a new deal. You see the problem? I don't know the answer, so we'll have to see, man. But it's an interesting one, because with every game it gets bigger and bigger, the question, and we have to answer it. So we'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. Who knows, though, man? It's an interesting debate. Please let me know if you lot will keep him. What are you lot saying in the comments as well? Beanie, I see you. Big up all the members. I see you in the comments. Holy cow, is just moving like a twat. Please, moderators, pattern up the spot. The spamming is dead. We don't need that in our lives. You know, it's 10 to 1. It's crazy. What? Lacko was dropped from the team while doing the same several times this season. Arteta has a lot to answer for. Lacker's finally alive. Could be his best season with us. Ironically, I think so as well. Lacker's been a very good servant for the football club. Very good servant for the football club. But man, need to remember, football's in stages, man. Everyone goes through form. Sometimes it is what it is. Man are just playing bad, man. Man are just playing bad. I don't feel we play even to Aubameyang's strengths. And I feel with the way it looks like the team is going, technical football and stuff, there's no point Aubameyang being in the team if you're not going to feed him to score goals, because he's not able to contribute like that consistently. You know, he can make runs and stuff, but he's not the techie sort of baller. Like, do you get what I'm saying, people? Bro, hindsight is free. I'm sure Arsenal wouldn't have released Andy Cole. I'm sure Sir Alex Ferguson wouldn't have let Pogba go to Juventus. There's things we can do different. Hindsight's a great thing, people. At the time, no one was saying to sell Laka. It was all we need to keep him, people. And the thing is, what I don't underestimate, what I don't like is that just play a man for the sake of it, because I get playing a man through form. I feel at times Aubameyang's just in the team for no reason, really and truly. Come on, man. Agreed, DG Laka showed up, but is he doing it when he needs to save his skin? We need consistency in players' performances. And that's it for me. It's like, as much as I like him, and I love Laka, I don't want him to go. With your heart, people, how many players in that team can you sit there and say, yo, 38 games in the Premier League, you're on it? Historically Aubameyang, but let's exclude Aubameyang now because he's not doing the business. Saka, Tierney, I'd say Gabriel for me. Mistakes they're gonna have bad games, but mistakes are minimal. Odegaard and Smith Rowe are moving, like I can trust them in that regards, but there's not too many among the squad, and I'm probably forgetting a couple names. You know me, Partey's my guy. There's not too many. Like, I'm a big fan of Aubameyang, but right now you're not in that bracket anymore. I love Lacazette, but are you going to do it, or are you going to go through these periods? Pepe, the same. There's bare players like that. And when you've got so many players like that together with the mistakes, it's a difficult one, man. It's a very difficult one, man. Very difficult one. They don't play well together anymore, I'd say. Really? Remember when they did? I would keep him, not just for performance. He's brilliant with the youth players. To be fair, he's brilliant with the youth players, but I'm not going to lie. That's not a reason to keep, man. I'd keep David Luiz, if anything, for that, but that's not a reason to keep, man. Are we running the football team, or are we doing some crash thing? Like, I get it. You need them around, but really, beyond what advice can you give them? Obviously, he can give advice, but what advice can you give them that the other experienced players can't? And he's still. I'm not saying you, my guy, but I feel us fans, we start saying that sort of stuff when we're just not trying to call a spade, man. And realistically, Lacazette is not going to accept less wages. He's turning 30. Let's be real. You wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. That's probably your last big contract, and he don't deserve what I don't. Saying a man don't deserve it isn't the best thing, because I don't know that, people, but I don't think I don't think he does, man. This is it, man. He needs to reduce them weight. To be fair, it's not my money, so I don't really care, man. But it is what it is. I like Lacazette's mentality among anything, because he seems to effing get it. Effing gets it. Like, that's one thing I'll give him, man. Come on, let's get the likes up, people. There's 100 of you not doing your job, man. Well, we're doing some youth club, man. I'm not too sure. I get that, but at times Pepe, Aubameyang, Lacazette have all had substantial minutes and been poor. I get you. At some times we need to call a spade, man. Really and truly. And this as well, bro. But I'm not too sure. Aubameyang, yeah, in terms of goal scoring. Lacazette, I'm not too sure, man. I don't think the club, to be fair, I don't think anybody's holding the club to ransom. If they're dumb enough to offer money, Ozil didn't put a gun to no one's head. Aubameyang didn't put a gun to no one's head. It is what it's. Saka even didn't put a gun to no one's head. I don't think it's any to that. If the club are stupid enough to give man certain money, who's going to turn it down? To be fair, Wenger gets a lot of criticism. He did also say, to go on to your Bergkamp comment, my dude, not to give Ozil that. It is what it is, man. You're not going to make your bread back, but I agree with you. A year left. If you are going to sell him, there's never been a better time, I'd guess. And it all depends. What is the right offer, though? Because we're not making 50 odd back. It all depends. And for me, you need a plan, innit? You sell Lacazette, you need to bring somebody in. Can you sell? There's too much to do, because you can say sell Lacazette, but then, you're not getting 50 million. You're probably getting 30 max. What top striker are you getting? If you're doing the scouting youth thing, fair play. But what top guy are you getting? You're going to have to raise a lot of funds, not just for that striker position, but for the whole squad. So I'm very wary of Lacazette is one of those brackets that his future needs to be sorted. We need to make a degree. We need to make a hell of a degree of sorting that out. But there's players that we need them gone. Like, I would say Bellerin, these sort, you know the names in it. They're the sort of guys that are the priorities. Couple man are on loan and things like that. It's a problem. To be fair, Kay, I hear you, but you're not. If you're a Lacazette, you got to put your mind in Lacazette. He's not taking that. I hear loving the club and things like that, but business is business, man. I would love that if he was, if he wants to go back to if he wants to go back to Lyon and we can get Aouar, I'm all on that, man. I'm all on that. To be fair to you, that's what I'm saying. You have to sell Eddie, make 20 odd million. For me, anyways, I do think you need that experienced backup striker, but I just think, sell that, go and make Martinelli that striker, innit? It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Go and train, go and make him that, man. Of course, we've lowered our expectations on Lacazette. But we're talking about work. The first things we say to praise man is work rate. He gets it in big games. We're not talking about man's footballing ability. That's not me criticizing him. That's just me showing us that, you know, our expectations have dropped. If the Lacazette, no criticism of Lacazette, it's the realness. If Lacazette was the striker we think we're getting, we wouldn't be talking about Aubameyang because he wouldn't be at this club. For years we was linked with Lacazette. We never moved. Lo and behold, 6 months after he comes to the club, we move for another player. Lacazette is good for the squad, but if he's one of those to rely on, it's another thing. So we'll have to see, man. It's a difficult one, but the better Lacazette plays, the better the question goes, people. So it is what it is in that regards. So yeah, moving away from that again, once again, please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. 223 likes. We can do a lot better than that. You know me, it's time to flick over once again to the good old Google pages. Let's move to Callum Chambers. This is what I'm saying. He was 52 mil. That's dead, man. Bro, Lacazette, he's a good finisher. He's just not a consistent finisher, man. I remember when Arsenal fans were saying Lacazette is a better finisher than Aubameyang because he takes less shots and he scores more. He scores more of his shots to goals ratio. And I hear that, but surely the better striker is the man that scores goals, you know. And I think both of them have an interesting debate. You know, you can't have both. You know, goals is sad, but goals aren't enough for Aubameyang. And you need to score goals, regardless of what other things you're doing. You need to score goals in Lacazette's case. So it is what it is in that regards. If we move on quickly, temporarily to Callum Chambers, though, folks. Pardon me, Callum Chambers. Pardon me. I think first and foremost, big up Callum Chambers. He's contracted until 2022. I don't mind him staying for the squad. He's a homegrown player. He's not going to play too many times. You know, he doesn't seem that he kicks up off fast. He can be used. You know, you need one of these jack of all trades, master of none, which from a selfish point of view would keep me up at night if I'm Chambers. You know, you've played 65 odd times for Arsenal. We don't know if you're centre half, right back, or centre mid. You've dibbed and dabbled at all of them, with the exception of being at Fulham and centre mid. What I like about Chambers is, you know, I do think when he got injured, he was playing well. I do think when he has been called upon minimal times this season, is it Burnley? Burnley, I'm sure. And yesterday against West Ham, he's done well. I think Chambers highlighted away from Callum Chambers, because my personal thing is I don't mind Chambers staying and being part of the squad for a year and running down the deal and whatever, or giving him a new marginalized contract to do that. But I would be on selling him to raise funds. But crucially for me, I think Callum Chambers, like Cedric, neither are the answer consistently. I do think, however, they once again, in Chambers' case, highlighted how important it is for a right back to be able to cross and get forward. You saw that yesterday, 2 own goals, and obviously was involved just by going forward. I think Bellerin doesn't. You saw how it's no coincidence, you know. Bellerin is very narrow. He goes inside way too much. Chambers is not a natural one, and he looks unnatural on the flank and right back, really. But he tries to do the basic competencies in a dictionary if he was to search right back. I like that from Chambers. I like that from Cedric. I think this highlights why we need another right back away from Bellerin. And, you know, I'd rather Chambers there than Bellerin. But again, Chambers, I say this now, Chambers is one of them, like Bellerin and Cedric. They go through good bouts of form. I don't know if you're really on this. There's a lot of players in defense, attack, whatever. I don't know if this is you, or it's a purple patch, or it's a whatever phase. Do you get? So I wouldn't give Chambers a new deal right now. Again, the fitness as well. We need to really see how he recovers and just see his true level after that injury. But he seems like a good character. He's made his way on the bench and stuff like that. He seems like he's cool. From a selfish point of view, Chambers is turning 26. You've never quite had a chance at Arsenal for whatever reason, a real fair crack at it. You've had opportunity. You've been used here, there, and everywhere. You've done well, but it's something needs to change, really. Like, from a selfish point of view, you're 27. You know, you're 27 next year. You need to go somewhere where you can settle down roots. Again, I don't mind him staying at Arsenal, but it must be difficult training knowing you're not really playing. Yeah, he's clearly trained well and not kicked up a fuss and got a chance and whatnot. But, you know, are you realistically going to train? Again, if they bring in a right back and centre half are 2 areas Arsenal have been linked with, that's going to marginalise minutes for you, Chambers. Again, 26 years of age. He's had injuries, but 2 appearances. You need to ask yourself, I'm sure you're cool here. You got Holding here. You've been here for time. You've been here since you was a boy, essentially. You know, you, Shaw, Ward-Prowse, you all came through the same similar sort of times. Obviously, Ward-Prowse stays at Southampton. Shaw's at United. You ain't really kicked on to their level. Shaw ain't really kicked on as much as I expected, but he's in the England team. Chambers, you got a single cap, and I don't think you're about. So when you're seeing your age mates, you need to really develop. Is that going to happen at Arsenal? One thing I rate about Arteta, he's shown that you can earn spaces, but again, if David Luiz signs a new deal, Saliba comes back, Rob Holding's probably ahead of him in the centre half pecking order. A new centre half allegedly comes in. That's 4 man. We don't know what's going to happen with Mavropanos. You get it? There's still Marie there. Again, it all depends. Even at right back as well. Bellerin probably going to move on, but right now it's Bellerin, Cedric, him. You know, Maitland-Niles probably being sold as well, but in theory he's there. And we've got a couple of exciting fullbacks coming from our academy. We need to keep that pathway clear, man. Brooks having quite a season, and Daniel's a decent one too. But as you've seen, people, he's made 2 appearances in the Prem, doing him a bit dirty. To be fair, for what it's worth, those two appearances, he's done it. And that's what I don't mind, you know. Sometimes Arteta's done these bewildering things of not using someone and throw them in. When you're throwing people in like Chambers, who's clearly of the mentality, let me stay ready so I don't have to get ready. I hear it. Sometimes you're throwing man in for some negativity and it's just not working. He's made 10 appearances this year. Actually, in terms of actual first team football, he's only played 6 times. You know, he showed the EFL trophy. He played for under 23s clearly, and he's played for under 23s in the reserve league. We all know he's been marginalized. He had to do up Europa League and things like that. But again, you know, forget all of that. He's played 141 times in the Premier League. He's played 107 times for Arsenal. I think, also, I'm bugging out. I think he's played 64 times for Arsenal. I'm sure in the league. I'm so sure I saw Arsenal say something about that on Arsenal.com. But nonetheless, people, forget about my BS statistics. My man has been here since we've been in the Champions League. He's played 107 times for the football club. We don't know if you're a centre half, right back, or centre mid. And even if you do, is he first choice? So again, I don't mind him as part of the squad, but in relation to new deal, I'm not sure, people. I'm not sure. I like that he's come back from his injury, but every so often we always hear the Chambers new deals, the Onene new deals, these sort of guys. Like, I'm not too sure if that's the answer. You'd have to decide that one for yourselves. But so far, so good. What I like about him is he understands it, man. I like his mentality. He don't mess around. You know, like I said, against West Ham, I think he had a very good game. But again, if you was to ask me in August who I believe in this side, I don't know. I can only say a handful of names. I know every player goes through bits and bobs of form. So we'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. But that's what I believe in the relation to Chambers, people, for what it's worth. Moving away from that and removing the screen. Me personally, DJ, I would sell Eddie, get the Celtic guy and make all strikers fight it out. Fair play. Because you know, you have to assume Lacazette wants to sign a 1-year deal, people. His goal record is brazy, small sample size, but he can definitely replace Aubameyang and has much better general play. Are you talking about Ødegaard or Lacazette? Oh, to be fair, you know, if he's one of our leading assisters, I hear that. That shows how poor we are. And to be fair, you're not meant to be here for the job, man. Dead. I don't think so. Because Maitland-Niles done that as well. Don't you remember the first time Arteta actually did that? Maitland-Niles brought, I mean, there was all articles about Maitland-Niles. And even if you watch yesterday, Chambers is doing the same thing. And what is he actually doing? Clearly, whatever Arteta's telling him to do, he's not doing it to the level because he's not in the squad. And he doesn't do it. You know, he doesn't do it to Cancelo's level, because away from Cancelo's ability, he wants the ball. Bellerin don't want the ball. The only thing I don't mind keeping Chambers because he's not bad for the dressing room. I like how when he gets his chance, he doesn't mess about. I do think he's had some Kalam moments. You know, I don't know where you've been when he's played right back against Swansea and numerous games. It's not pleasing on the eye, but, you know, he crosses the ball, and yesterday he puts it into decent areas. And he hardly I like Chambers' mentality, man. I like his mentality, but again, it's a tough decision to answer because I think for homegrown we should keep him, but it is what it is, man. They don't have to get wide and whip the ball in, but they do need to offer an attacking threat. You know, whatever way you say of it, in the game, you do need to go inside and be inverted. You can't be inverted for 90 minutes. You can't be high and wide for 90 minutes, of course. But one thing you need to do is offer something in the final third. There's no way on God's green earth Bellerin offers something, and Bellerin reflects what a modern day midfielder, fullback needs to do, regardless of if it's Arteta and stuff. You can show me all the fancy datagrams and stuff like that, you can just see Bellerin's regress. The metrics are there in terms of balls into the final third. The only thing he's actually quite high for is ball recoveries in our half. He's quite dead at everything else. There's no way around it. The man's 26. You know, James Justin, Lamptey, Trent, Wan-Bissaka, bare man that is in this league right now. Max Aarons is relegated, but he's a bare man that weren't about when Bellerin's came through. You know, they're better than him. So he's regressed. We ain't got time to hold people's hands. If Bellerin leaves, then it's cool. Clearly, Arteta don't really rate Bellerin. He's dropped him right now. So I don't know what you're I think you're doing what fans do when they like a player and just finding excuses, people. You know, it's dead, man. It's dead. It's absolutely dead. He's not the guy. Bellerin's had some good form, but he cowers away. He doesn't want the ball, especially when he's narrow. He doesn't want it out wide. He doesn't want to overlap. He doesn't take a man with him. He's not the modern day winger, midfield, fullback. This is how Bellerin's even confusing me. At that point, you know, what's going to happen? Bellerin might leave and become that fullback. He might. The penny might drop. I've said that before, but I think both of these men, both us and Bellerin, we need to divorce. You know, it's like a relationship. I'm sure a man and a woman, when they find the next man and a woman, they're happier. But in the relationship previously, you know, it was negative. It wasn't going to happen. And this marriage needs to stop now between us and Bellerin. And, you know, unless Bellerin plays a blinder, you know, nobody missed him, man. Bro, do you see Edouard? Was it yesterday? Was it against was it against Rangers that Edouard got an assist where he crossed it with his left peg? And even the game before that against, well, it weren't before that, but the game I watched before that, I'm sure it was St. Mirren's, they drew or something like that. He done his thing. He's a good player, man, but obviously you have that, what's that word, man? That uncertainty until you sign him and take that risk. You never truly know, man. I like Chambers because I do agree, you know, I do think he's decent with his delivery and stuff, but if he plays consistently, I don't know. I like Chambers. I'm not sure for the new deal. He needs to go and earn that, but Chambers is, again, I'd listen to offers. Definitely, if you got an offer, I'd be open to hearing it, but I won't force him out. And this is it. And that's the point. Bro, Chambers does it better. And it's still meaty, for real. So this just tells you how poor certain players are, man. I need to stop holding players' hands, fam. Like, stop holding players' hands, fam. Play scared, but we play scared, man. Ain't got time for that, man. He's just, bro, we just need to move on, man. I love Bellerin, bro. Like, he came from Haylen, but at the same time, man can't keep doing this love story stuff every year with these certain guys. There's too many of this. Like, every game, it's not healthy for the last couple of years. You know, Xhaka is another one, Bellerin's another one, Leno's becoming one. You know, there's bare other footballers. I admire Bellerin as a person. I like how I hear stories about him off the ground, off the field, what he does for Arsenal. I actually like how, despite people mocking, you know, sadly his dietary needs and his passions away from football, you know, I actually like he's not afraid to be himself. I do think he's more committed to football than people give him credit for. It's just, once you step onto that field, I need to believe in you. I don't believe in Bellerin. Maybe it's because I am a right back. I've got thingy. I've got a sort of bias to him, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Either way, you know, I don't think any of these right backs at this football club address that. We need to go out and do this. Like, we need to go out and buy a right back. It's crazy, man. You know, Chambers is gonna give you a run of form. Then the one bad game he has, we're looking at him like it's a bit dodgy. It's like fans have forgotten. Bellerin is not levels. Like, any winger that plays against Bellerin, 9 times out of 10 they duppy him. He has had good games this season, but he gets duppied. He's too scared when he goes inverted. He doesn't want the ball. He doesn't offer anything on the outside. So, you know, you can believe in Bellerin if you want. He's on big money. You know, if anyone should understand this football club, it should be him. You know, I like Bellerin, but I don't think he's levels, people. It's about tactics and options. But if Bellerin was that good, why isn't he the outstanding option? You know, somehow Aubameyang's still been able to be played. Do you get it? And to a degree, we like what he's gone with. But did he do that first time around against West Ham, where they were playing the exact same way of football when we beat them 2-1 at the place? No, it wasn't. And you know what? You don't know that, because Cedric might have just not been played because he wants to give Chambers a chance because he's played better. You say physically, better suited physically for what? For what? defending aerial situations. He's Chambers defo isn't going to cover ground as quick as Bellerin or cover the space as quick as out and out fullbacks in Cedric and that. You could have said it would have been a disaster having Ben Rama and the movement of Lingard and all of these things. But you have to wonder why Chambers got the nod in. Why has he seen Chambers as a better fit than someone who's meant to be the captain and things like that? It's a fan thing. Like you're doing up the fan thing, my guy. Like, you have to get blocked, man. You're doing up the fan thing. We're here for honest football chat. I'm not here to defend or critique lover boys. Like you just showed that guys like that show the mediocrity of this football club. It's what it is, man. And I do think, for what it's worth, I do think man get at Bellerin for no reason half the time, and some things are not his fault and all of those sort of things. But brother, man have been here for time. I'm looking at Bellerin a bit harsher because you get this thing, you should get this. You're Mr. Whatever, in it. You was here for time. I do think you need experience, my guy, but the experience has to be good, innit? We're not signing good experience players, so they're always going to show you the problems. Love, my guy. Do you know what? What have you said? My brother DG Bellerin hasn't been the same since that first bad injury he had, but we should have sold him long time ago. Keep doing you, my bro. I appreciate that. And it's true, man. It really is true. Do you believe Arteta allowed Bellerin to go back to Spain for his birthday? I don't know that. I don't know. Is that a rumor? I don't speculate on rumors. I don't know, man. Probably not, because he's getting, Bellerin's not getting called up for international duty, so he probably is able to do that now. I like if Bellerin was a coach, it's better admirable, but it's just some players we need to cut loose, man. Bare these players need to cut loose. It's nothing against Bellerin personally. It's just hella man need to get cut loose, man. And this is the thing, there's too many love stories, man. There's too many love stories. Too many love stories with Arsenal, man. We need to just get rid of certain man. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is, man. Love, my guy. What have you said? Do you see the necessity in providing cover for Bellerin? As always, in-depth analysis and always insightful. We need a backup right back. If Bellerin's going to be the backup and play marginalized, if that's going to be Chambers, if that's going to be Cedric, if that's going to be Maitland-Niles, it's got to be one of them. Like, it can't get rid of all of them. But what I do want to see is a right back. Like, fair enough, Tini was poor against West Ham largely, but how many bad games does he have? We're not speaking about left back. Well, we are. We're talking about bringing in a backup one, but we're not speaking about that, We need to stop with it now. We're not going to get anywhere unless we have people that get it. And maybe I think Bellerin suffered from injuries, from sometimes he scapegoated unnecessarily. I think he really suffered for large years by just having a free run at that right back spot. There was no one that's levels. Debussy came and tried the thing and it didn't last. But that's just what I believe, man. It is what it is in that regards, people. So yeah, moving on from that though. I forgot to do my March review, people, so we might as well get into that as well. What's the minute? 1:41:38. March review. I don't even think that. I see Bellerin still doing the same thing. Bro, sometimes it's not complicated. Bellerin's just not doing the job. Like, he's just not it, man. Maybe it's because I'm a right back, so I'm more onto him and stuff like that naturally. But nah, man, I'm not buying that. With all due respect, not saying you're trying to sell me something, but I'm just not buying that, bro. I can't buy that, fam. Like, sometimes man are just playing dead because they're playing dead. Away from that though, please make sure you're hitting that like button. Big up the Twitch gang as well. I see you lot locked in. You're never forgotten about. Big up K, big up Hamsick and all the man them there. But yeah, people, now let's get into this real quick. As I was saying, people, now March review in relation to this thing now. Sorry, as you can see, this was all done very quickly. Now, my opinions on March, I feel a bit indifferent by Arsenal, and we're not 10th, we're 9th now. I think everybody can admit that we're still in the I don't think we've learned anything about our club. We still have the same old problems. We did end it with a fight back against Leicester. Maybe that was a precursor of the month, because I'd say current themes again have been conceding cheap goals, not playing well for the whole 90, man management and game management needing to be questioned, players switching off, players not approaching games in the right way, or if they approach it in the right way, they're not ending it in the right way. Ultimately, I'd say a lot of our problems come from we're not doing the job for 90 minutes. you know, obviously we drew against Burnley, and again struggling to hold on to leads. We scored in the 6th minute and then let them score 6 minutes before half time. Obviously it was a calamitous error, but this tells you our problems. And amongst other things, we made it harder than it needed to be. We didn't set up in the right way. We didn't prepare ourselves mentally. And again, we don't shoot enough. We had 3 shots on target. And again, an individual error in Xhaka, not to scapegoat, made the difference. So again, I'm not scapegoating players. This is just a themes that I have been seeing. Obviously, we beat Spurs 2-1. Fair play. It's a big game, man to a man. Everybody stood up. You know, Odegaard, Lacazette, every Smith Rowe, every Bear man plays well in it. Bear man played well. They did well. We can't say anything more beyond that. I think it was a good performance. But again, if I'm scrutinizing it again, the same problems were there. We made a fast start and then we almost messed it up towards the end. You know, we had to go a goal behind, so we didn't, you know, possession is still not correlating to taking the lead and killing off games when we can. We still had to come from behind, and we had to the Odegaard goal was good, but we had to rely on a penalty. Fair enough, you need to play the ball into those areas to get a penalty, but I don't think we're asking questions enough of keepers. And every week I'm saying we're not shooting enough. I do think when you look at the way we was pressing Spurs, I think the game plan made us get that penalty, because we're pressing them. Loris, has tried to go long. Obviously, Pepe has played a pass to Lacazette. Obviously, the way we went going forward led to 2 goals by West Ham, but I just feel we've got a lot more to offer in an attacking sense. I don't feel, based on what I've seen this month, we're playing to our full potential offensively. Defensively, obviously we're not. There's 12 games, no clean sheet. It's not sustainable. We're in all comps, it's not sustainable. And we did, you know, only Arsenal would look more shaky playing against 10 men against Spurs, but North London derby is what it is. You know, in terms of the league, we're undefeated in the league for March, so that's a positive, I guess. And we're up to 9th, and, you know, a couple players are starting to come into form. You know, we can never have everybody playing in form. When certain players rise in form, other man's form dips. So way of the world, isn't it? Yin and yang and all that sort of stuff. But again, so yeah, we beat Spurs. We did what we needed to do. No clean sheet, cheap goal conceded, not playing well for the whole 90. The same can be said for Burnley. Also, obviously, we just saw fresh after the West Ham game, you know, terrible first 20 minutes. You know, it's like we do not prepare well enough. And I don't think that's on Arteta. I think he gives them every damn bit of information. I just think once these players cross the white chalk, I don't think it's like these lot have watched West Ham play. It's like they're not keeping up to date with what's going on. Like, if you're a rapper, or if you're a good rapper, surely you understand, or you're looking at what other rappers in the industry are doing, what they're not doing, what sort of deals they're doing, what their management is doing, whatever. And that goes for every industry. And I have to say that about football. If I'm a footballer for Arsenal or playing West Ham, because I love Arsenal or love the professional women, I'm looking at the Premier League and seeing West Ham play fifth. You know, they're good at set pieces. They're good in the air. They make late runs. You know, they can score goals. They can put moves together. All the things you would have said about West Ham going into that game, we were highlighted about it in the game. So it's almost like we're told how much of a fire there is. We put our hands in the fire and we're complaining that we're burnt. Yes, there is a bit of fight to get back in the game. You know, we've come from behind in our last 2 games. And to be fair to you, to be undefeated against Spurs and West Ham, it is what it is, people. There is a positive in that. But it's a case of where we're saying if, but, and the other. You know, if the Spurs, we never got the pen, or if this happened, if Kane scored, if this happened against West Ham, we're focusing on too many fine margins as fans, as a football club, and even as a manager. And for me, we can talk about fine margins, innit? But if you're focusing on fine margins, an incident that's happened in a minute, or a 30-second incident over a 90-minute game, for me, yeah, you can focus on that. You can attribute it. You can think about it. But surely that means there's something you didn't do across the other duration of the game. And I think fans, we focus on that too much. Like, certain fans will look at the first 20 against West Ham and say, excluding the first 20, we could have done this. I'm sorry, but you can't exclude it. You have to consider it all. You can't be on this positive Larry stuff. You can't be on this negative Paddy stuff. You've got to be, you know, Balance Bennett. That's the only name I could think of. I don't know why Bennett was there, but it is what it is. So yeah, I like the fact that there's a little bit of fight back, but it is what it is, people. And I think as well, like I said, once again, the players, Arteta has a lot of criticisms. I think he's rotated unnecessarily, but more often than not, I've been angry with these players because I think he's given them every bit of water and these lot refuse to drink it. The water being the information. So mixed success, you know, at the end of the day, you know what, 2 draws and a win, undefeated, if you want to look at it like that. I do think there's an element of complacency, in the same way complacency swept in when we beat Brighton, Chelsea and West Bromwich Albion. Bro, Balance Bennett, fam. I was gonna say Barney. I thought that name sounds dead. Big Selt, man. Love to Big Selt, man. Check out his YouTube channel as well. He's doing his thing. You need to come on here one day when there's time to do that. But yeah, obviously we can't not talk about the month without speaking about Europa League. End of the day, we got through. For me, isolated to this Europa League, it indirectly ties into all the games we played this month in that cheap goals, making it harder than it needs to be, a lot of inconsistencies, everything we say every week. Basically, we did the job in it. So to be undefeated in the league, to get through against Olympiacos, what more could I ask? It could have been better. It could have been a lot worse. Against Olympiacos, when we lost, again, that same theme and attitude carried on into the game against West Ham. And players need to understand, regardless of if players are being rotated and whatnot, how we act paints an individual bit of a puzzle for the whole collective. Because we've made both of these games harder than it needs to be, we started seeing injuries, we started seeing unnecessary rotation, players didn't get a day off. And for the players, they need to understand, if we kill off games better, you know, if we kill off games, people can get rested and all of these sort of things. We can save legs and whatnot. So I think game management, yeah, Arteta takes a bit long with the subs and whatnot, but game management, these players, they're not starting games well. They're not going into halftime, not conceding. They're not closing out games well. You know, a couple man are, couple man aren't. You know, sometimes it's David Luiz, sometimes it's not. I don't think the players have managed this period as well. I think the manager's kind of messed up at times with his substitutions. I think sometimes I think another criticism, again, I like that you retain faith with Aubameyang, but I don't think he's deserved to play ahead of Pepe or Willian. And I think we're at that period now where you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You play your better players, simple as that. I do think while there has been rotation, I think there's inconsistencies when I see certain men start. And it's like the players do not know when they can save their legs. And that's for them in Europa. But if you kill off the first leg, you give yourself a handbrake. And I don't really see it. So, yeah, it could have been better. It could have been worse. I personally, this is me speaking for myself, people. I think personally that we've improved defensively, but I think it's overstated improvements defensively. I think we're underperforming in terms of attack, regardless, people, regardless, because when you look at it, my maths might be poor and I might look like an idiot. But again, in terms of the goals in the league, we've scored 5 in the league. We've scored 9 in all comps this month, conceded 5 in the league. Again, at one point we had 11 wins, 11 losses in the league. We've conceded 5, we've scored 5. So what are we? Are we just like that? We're not a good attacking team? We're not the best scorers? I don't know. In all comps, we conceded 7. So we've got a plus of 4, a plus of 2. Now, I don't know if you want to insert some own goal taxes and stuff like that, but this ain't sustainable, is it? Surely, people, this ain't sustainable. I think positives have been for me, I also as well, I think on that as well, I think the fact that Ødegaard's come into form and been here 2 secs, Smith Rowe once again has only been in the first team like this on this level for a couple of secs, and Williams just found form. I think when you look at attacking goal involvements and things, I think that the fact that these 3 in particular score quite high, it's not a criticism. I think it tells you that the nucleus of this squad, the squad that started it in August, are underperforming, quite poor, but it is what it is, man. Like I said, for large parts of the season, man are underperforming. For me, I think there's overstated improvements in defense. We're still underperforming in attack. I do think there's more heart, determination, and a bit more drive. Clearly, I've seen my team lose 3-0, be losing 3-0, and then end up go lose 5. You drawed it back at the weekend, but these are just some isolated incidences. And, we have been better against the top teams as well this season generally, but we're not winning enough battles, so we can't win the war, people. We face the prospect of sitting here in May and say, oh yeah, but we beat United away from home, we beat Chelsea at their place, we done this and done that. It's not enough. And what I hope is that these players, they done exactly what we've done. We've talked about the season. They go back, they forgive themselves, and they think about what's happened this month and prepare for next month. Because next month, when you come back from international duty, you've got Liverpool, underperforming or not. Liverpool beat you in the last game. Liverpool are still a big team. You've still got to go in no order. You've got to go Chelsea. You've got to play Brighton. You've got some difficult teams and some difficult games, and only you lot will decide this for yourselves, people. Rotation has been needed, but it feels like Arteta, for me, doesn't pick the moments wise enough and has shown his inexperience. I don't think we're producing enough clear-cut chances or scoring enough. Again, we needed a pen. We needed to go behind, actually, as well. We needed a pen against Spurs. 2 of these goals were own goals against West Ham. Once again, to get that penalty and to get those own goals. We had to do something going forward, so I give us that. But these are just fine margins, and for me, we're not shooting enough. And when we are shooting, 9 times out of 10, we get into double figures for shooting. And hardly any are hitting the target. In terms of positives, there's been a couple other positives, but I think, there's been a bit of good spirit. There is spirit in the team now. It's not enough, but there is spirit. We're technically undefeated in the league, and ultimately the Europa League dream is still alive. So they are positives. I feel Lacazette's really played well, and a couple other man, but these are the ones I wanted to set a push. Pepe Partey settling. Couple of times he's got 90 minutes under his belt now. Odegaard's taking up his game to another level and showed us not just little dribs and drabs. He's a difference maker. It is what it is. In terms of negatives, I think sadly the same old issues that have been remaining all season are still here, people. We're still relying on the same old players, and if not, fair enough. I always said when couple players get in form, other people are lost. Aubameyang's form's gone, Odegaard stepped up. Do you get it? So we're still relying on the same old couple of names, and even with Tierney and Saka, they didn't have the best of games against West Ham. The fact that our form is correlated between these a handful of players, and if we're going to play well or not, it's unhealthy because there's 38 games. You can't expect the same 7 to be at it. There's no way around it. I do think there's been an improvement defensively, but I think it's overstated. There's no clean sheet in 12 games. Obviously, we didn't play 12 in March, but again, that tells you previous months we've carried on that theme. Simple as that. I don't know why I put that in green. That's not nice. Why would I want that to be a plus point? Last 2 games have not been good enough for me in general, people. We've done what we've needed to do, but it's not been good enough. I keep hearing these players say we need to do this, we need to do that. Like even Leno, he said based on the Olympiacos game, we're not going to improve. We're not going to do anything if we play like that. And I've seen him play shit as well, like everybody else. I don't think these players prepare themselves well enough mentally for games. I honestly think Arteta does all he can in that regards. And this is why, as much as I have criticisms for Arteta, and I'm not saying he needs to forever be Arsenal manager, it's easier to get rid of players, but I've got more time for the manager and his mistakes than these players. We've not been following runners like you saw for Lingard and Souček, something that's been persistent all season. Sometimes I feel Arteta's been persistent with players not doing the business. Like, yeah, you dropped Lacazette against Spurs, Aubameyang against Spurs. I think you should have dropped him for the last game. I don't think he hasn't been starting Pepe when he's needed to. So yeah, a bit of 6s and 7s from the gaffer. My concerns, ultimately, for me, talking off the field versus the talking on the field has not been consistent, people. Unpopular opinions. I think Leno's been a bit dodgy this season. I think Aubameyang will be back in terms of goal scoring, but again, if he's not back, clip man, get rid of man, do something else, play someone else. I still think Gabriel's our best centre half, and I do think, unfortunately, fans overrate Pablo Mari. And that, for the record, that does not mean I don't think Pablo Mari is in a good centre half. That does not mean I don't think he can be used. It's just man are looking at him as the Messiah, unfortunately, and fans do that with all of these players. And whatnot, and for me, a positive would be as well. It feels like there's something building here, but it's not quite enough, and that one pro isn't being outweighed by the cons. It does feel like there's something building. I don't know what. I might be playing up to my name. It just feels like something's happening. I don't know what. A part of me, not that I always want to wait for next season, like most fans say, but a part of me just feels if you get some of these dead players out, Arteta might be able to do a little thing. I don't know. Something just tells me there's something there. Maybe that's the heart speaking. And I feel I'm more angry at these players than I am at Arteta this month, because Arteta, I can blame the manager, but I just feel a lot of these players have just been doing stupidness this month. I don't blame Arteta. There are some things, like I said, the subs, but drawing against West Ham, the Olympiacos game, I don't blame him. I really don't blame him. I blame these players. I can only blame him for taking long with the subs, in my opinion. And some of my ending thoughts would be, people, as well. Preparation is key. These players need to start preparing themselves. I'm very disappointed how I saw us turning our backs. I still think 90 minutes is football's a 90-minute game, and I think too often than not, there's too many handful of positives. And there's too many negatives. There's too many positives and negatives of every 90-minute game we're playing. We're not managing it well. I think this is meant to be from my West Ham video, so ignore that. But it is what it is, people. It is what it is. It is what it is, firmly, in that regard. So with that ends the March review. So yeah, that's that in that regard. Bro, when I said that, you lot killed me. What I believe with Leno, I believe you can persist with Leno. I think if Leno had a better defense and we had these less of bad habits, I think you can get away with Leno. But I do think you would look into it. You would look at Leno and say we're a bit. It's a bit dodgy. You know, Leno for me isn't. I like him. He's proved me wrong in many aspects, but he's too eccentric for me. I want him to. He spreads his nervousness throughout the team. You know, sometimes I think people are deceived by these spectacular saves. Sometimes there's no need to save it like that. And more often than not, a lot of the goals you're looking at Leno, it might not all be his fault, but could you have done a bit better? Like the 2 of the 3, at least, could you have done a bit better? And his positioning for all 3 of those goals has been terrible. And Leno does a lot of talking. I need to see the correlation, man. It's crazy, man. Is what it is. But I do think you need to do a lot more before you get rid of Leno, man. But it is what it is. It is what it is, people. It really is what it is. But yeah, man, can't lie. We've been here for about 2 hours. So with that, that's going to end that, people. I'm going to get out of here. Obviously, once this gets uploaded on YouTube, for those of you that have been late, you'll get your timestamps and those things. But yeah, I wasn't planning on being here for 2 hours. But it is what it is in that regards, people, man. I appreciate everybody that's tuned in. I appreciate all the likes you lot have done. Please do what you can to drive up the engagement levels. I do agree with that. He has been the best, but sometimes it don't mean you're good enough, really. In that regards, but yeah, like I said, I appreciate all the support you lot have given me. The engagement and interaction has been very good. Please make sure you hit the like button. You know me, I'll try my best to save you lot in these boring 2 weeks of international football, but for now, I'm gonna have to love and leave you, folks. DG, I'm out. Peace out. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Hit the like